absolutely crimes, but
But are you saying because they
they're
didn't like
not
hurt anybody
very,
and they're
they're
victimless
not
crimes that
really
you don't care?
they're not really the crimes that you actually want to get them on.
Okay,
So
so why
like they
don't
don't
so
really
can you just
block.
be clear here?
See,
Why don't you
the
care about the
left, the
felonies?
left has this idea that,
Oh,
oh wow, because we just got him on 34 felonies, he can't be president. No, you have to look at what the felonies are actually about. They're about missed payments to a person. That's what they're about, or mismanaged payments due to the campaign.
yeah,
They're not
falsification of
really,
business records in the first degree. Are you
yeah.
just saying that you don't really care too much about his felonies because they're kind of like inconsequential and
Well,
they
they
don't have a
aren't
victim?
sexual assault felonies and they're not murder felonies and that sort of thing. So
Okay.
they don't really block him from running
So,
for
so they're
president.
so they're victimless. In your mind, you don't really care too much because they're victimless felonies, right?
Yeah, not really, bro.
Okay. But you do care about undocumented entry. I have a question. Who's the victim of undocumented entry?
Everyone.
Everyone? Okay. So name
Yep.
one way that
And
undocumented
look,
immigrants in
I
this country
feel,
hurt this country.
well, here's the issue, right? So people come into this country and illegally, see, I have zero issue with people who are I have zero issue with people who come in and like the legal way. Zero issue. But people who come in illegally, I don't really like that because that places a burden on us
Okay,
who
what
pay
burden?
taxes. And well, we have to spend our taxpayer money on people who are not actually really a part of this country when
Really?
we
Are
could
you
be
sure?
spending it on people.
Are you
Yeah,
positive?
because our tax we all right. So New York spent billions
Oh, okay.
on illegal immigrants. You can look this up. This is factual.
Yeah.
But anyway, and look, I live in New Jersey, very close to New York. I feel for New York. I think that they should be spending their money on really good things, not illegals. See, illegals come in here and they,
Do you mind if I hop into the conversation now?
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Sorry.
Fantastic, my friend. So first and foremost, you're telling us that undocumented immigrants are a burden economically on American citizens, since there's some
Yep.
states that have social safety nets designed for some undocumented immigrants. Okay, well, I mean, like half that statement is true. Like the latter part of you suggesting that some states have social safety nets for some undocumented immigrants. Yeah, like New York, like California, like Colorado, like Illinois, like Mississippi, etc. Sorry, not Mississippi, Minnesota, etc. However, what you're forgetting here is that point number one, undocumented immigrants cannot access any federal benefits because that is strictly illegal. They are only offered to legal residents and or citizens. And point number two, undocumented immigrants only qualify for some benefits in some states, not all states. Okay, which leads us to our conclusion that they're actually they're a lesser net drain on the economy through social safety nets when compared to citizens. And this point only becomes stronger when we consider the fact that undocumented immigrants pay over $100 billion per year in taxes on the federal, state, and local level, most notably by working as a W-2 employee on an ITIN.
See, a lesser net drain is not a no net drain. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't.
I actually, no, that's true.
Yeah.
I misspoke. I didn't even say to say a lesser net drain. They're economically productive, which means that they pay more in taxes and then they take away. I appreciate you for correcting.
But not really. See, I want our taxes to go to social programs that can actually help people. See, getting people off the street, getting homelessness solved. That's what I want.
Okay. Name one social program that Donald Trump supports that is aimed and geared towards helping low-income Americans.
Look, I support Donald Trump and all, but I know he hasn't done that much in social programs.
Okay, great.
That's something that we need to solve, and that's something that everyone needs to come
Did you know
together
that
to
he's
solve
actually
that.
defunded these social programs? He defunded Medicaid by $900 billion, food stamps by $156
Well,
billion. And in
Medicaid-
fact, he just wants to get rid of the totality of the federal Department of Education. He's also cut the VA by multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. They had to fire 52,000 employees. He's defunded the intellectuals and the arts. Now we have scientists from America moving to Europe to continue their studies. He's defunded WIC. He's defunded programs for getting unemployed Americans employed. I think that's Job Corps. He's defunded clean energy production because he hates it and he thinks that windmills cause cancer. If you care about funding essential social safety nets, then Trump should be the last person you'd ever support as president.
Well, a lot of this is cutting the fat. See, he's not defunding it. He's only lowering the funds of this stuff. And, education.
What does defunding mean?
Look, I want to be a teacher. There's plenty of it.
Wait.
There's
What
plenty
is
of
what is
issues
what is
in the
defunding
education
mean?
department that needs where money just disappears. See,
Yo.
this is for sure. Money just disappears.
What
It
does
needs to be
defunding? What does
defunded.
defunding mean?
Taking away money, not taking away all the money, but taking away some money.
Wait, didn't you just say he wasn't defunding these programs? He's just cutting the funding to these programs. But then I ask you
Well,
what
yeah,
defunding
look,
means, and
I'm-
then you define defunding as cutting the funding.
Yeah, absolutely. I misspoke on that. I meant taking away some of the funding of that.
Okay, well, isn't that how you defunded? Sorry, not how you defunded. Is that not how you define defunding?
Bro, I misspoke on definition of that. That's my bad.
Well, I mean, feel free to correct yourself. I'm not trying to like get you in a gotcha moment here. I'm like, curious because like you're rejecting the notion that he's defunding these programs.
Taking away all the money. That's what defunding is. That's my bad on,
taking away all the money.
Yeah. But he did not take away all the money. He just took away some of the money, and that is an issue because school districts like to spend money on useless things.
One second, sir.
They should not spend money on useless things. So he's taking away the money that he can spend on useless things instead of actually teaching our kids to learn.
Defunding isn't taking away all the funding for something. That's not what that means. So defunding can be taking away all the funding for something, but also just means taking away some of the funding for something. Like for instance, if I run a business and this business has been in a like total loss for like the last 10 years of me running it, and it cost $1 million per year to run, I would defund that business if instead of giving it $1 million per year to run, I instead just gave it $800,000 per year to run. That is me defunding something. Defunding just is A, you start with D, and then B, you start with funding. So D just means to decrease or take away funding.
Defunding means to take away all the money for that thing.
Okay. Obviously, I don't think that we're going to be able to
because
get past
if
this
you
point.
still have money coming in for that project,
that
is still funding.
I obviously
for that
don't think that we're
going to
be able to get past this point. This just isn't the way that we use this term in American politics.
But it doesn't matter what American politics. Doesn't matter about that.
It does matter because that's what we're having a conversation about. We that's just simply not the way that we use the term defunding in American politics, oriented around policy debate. Okay, like for instance, right? Like when Donald Trump, the big beautiful bill, and he cut like Medicaid by $900 billion. What did you hear every single member of like the Democratic caucus like scream out about? The fact that he was defunding Medicaid. Okay, so you are using the term defunding in an unconventional sense that you made up on the spot, so you weren't caught in my argument. Right? Because remember, this argument is completely contingent upon the fact of you telling me that you do not think we should defund our social programs. And then I bring up the fact that Donald Trump has nearly defunded them all. So now you've just changed the definition of defunding from taking away some funding to take away all funding. Okay, and this actually leads me to a really fair and good like question of clarification here. Everybody knows what we call it when you take money away from a social program. Everyone knows that we call that defunding, but you're telling me that's not how you use the word. So what do you call that? What do you call it when our government takes funding away from a social program?
Cutting the fat.
Cutting the fat?
Yeah, there's so much of our government money that goes into these programs that is not needed.
So you just think that cutting government like spending is always good?
Yeah, because we're in debt.
Okay. So if cutting government spending is always good, if like, for instance, Trump were to sign a bill in tomorrow that like cut all funding away from all policemen and women and like all like firefighters in America, you'd say that's good because it's cutting government spending?
Nah, because we still need security for our schools and a lot of shootings that happen, which is a very recent topic.
Okay, well then you don't think that cutting government funding is always good. But like, even if you just like generally think that cutting government funding is a good thing and you support reducing the deficit and you support reducing the debt, well then on this side of things, you could also never support Trump ever again a day in your life, because in his first term, he had an $8.6 trillion worth of debt through debt related spending. And now so far in his second term, he signed in $5 trillion worth of debt. And in fact, the big beautiful bill was the most expensive bill in American history.
Yep. And that's an unfortunate thing with Trump. I don't really like that thing about him. But he still, he broke a lot of promises with that stuff. I'm not really happy with it, but we still did see some decrease in debt through his lowering of costs, or the American taxpayer costs in Medicaid and stuff like supporting illegal immigration.
Every single year, not every single year, every single month so far under the Trump administration and every single quarter, we have seen that our government's expenditure has gone up. Yeah,
and that's a problem with us sending money to Israel and other countries.
Wait, but now you're saying, that's a problem. I thought that you just said the opposite. So I just said like every single month so far under the Trump administration, we've seen that government expenditure has gone up and our debt has gone up. But like what you said before that is that we've actually seen it go down.
I absolutely acknowledge that. That's something that has happened, but At least he's made an effort to try and curb government spending, unlike other presidents.
Okay, so now you're saying that he's made an effort to curb government spending, even though he has spent more in the last 200 days than every dollar spent by the Biden-Harris administration in 4 years. Do you see how like your point is like purely rhetorical and propagandistic by nature? Like, how can you like possibly like seriously believe that Donald Trump wants to reduce government spending and he's truly putting an effort into that when he spent more in the last 200 days than the Biden-Harris administration did in 4 years?
Well,
by the way, that's like spent more net.
yeah.
I mean, that's even accounting for his cuts, right? Even if we account for like, I don't know, like the $200 billion cut so far through the use of the DOGE, and we take that away from the $5 trillion he's already spent, all of a sudden we're left with $4.8 trillion, which is $600 billion higher than the $4.2 trillion worth of debt-related spending that the Biden-Harris administration signed into law in 4 years.
Well, yeah, definitely. Like, he's definitely spent a lot more. Like, I can't really argue that, but I still think he's a much better president because he has curbed illegal immigration.
Oh.
He has, that's a really big issue for me.
Okay. Well, I thought that we've already talked about that.
Illegal immigration.
Once again, I thought that we've already talked about that. You told me the reason why you think that we should deport undocumented immigrants in America from America is because you think that they're a total like net drain on American society, and we spend the taxpayers' money on them through these social services. But I thought I already brought up 3 points that easily debunk that fact. The first point that I brought up to easily debunk that fact is the fact that they actually receive less in benefits than American citizens because they don't qualify for state benefits in all states, and they don't qualify for any federal benefits in any state. And also the fact that they can't file for a tax return at the end of the year. So those that pay taxes pay a higher proportional tax rate considerate to that of the average American citizen. And they pay $100 billion worth of taxes per year, according to the IRS, through the use of an ITIN on the federal, local, and state level, right? I think that these facts easily dispute the notion that they're a total net drain on the American economy.
Imagine if we took that money and actually put it towards the American people. The money that we spend on immigrants.
Wait, are you talking about like the $200 billion that got delegated to ICE for the next 10 years through the big beautiful bill? Yeah.
Well, ICE needs to do something to get rid of the people who are creating an even more bigger problem.
Okay, so then demonstrate that problem. How much does our government expense on
$200 billion
how much does our government expense on undocumented immigrants per year?
Drop in a bucket compared to the amount of money that would be spent supporting more and more immigration coming in.
Okay, and how much is that? What is the overall like net expense of undocumented immigrants on the American economy per year?
I don't know that number.
Okay, but then how do you know it's like significantly larger or even exists at all if you don't know it?
Because if more people keep coming to the U.S. constantly, the amount of money that we have to spend on them will go up.
That last statement underlied on the assumption that undocumented immigrants on average are a net drain on the economy. And that's the statement that I'm asking you insofar as
it doesn't matter if they are a net drain on the economy.
Yes, it does.
What matters is we are spending money on
Wait. Of course it matters if they're a net drain on the economy. Because if they're not a net drain, listen to what I have to say before you interrupt me. I'm right here. I'm just objectively right here. And I'm going to not prove it with like partisan politics or talking points. I'm literally going to prove it with math. Are you ready?
Yeah.
If they're not a net drain on the economy and they overall pay more in taxes or they overall generate more productivity in the economy when then compared to what is expensed on them by the American economy, well, then they would be putting more into the system than they're taking out. A very simple analogy to understand this line of thought would be like you are paying somebody $10, right? Meanwhile, you're only receiving $3 back from them. Overall, at the end of the day, if you do this transaction every single day, that other person is going to take away $7 net gained every 24 hours. So now if we apply this analogy in the context of undocumented immigrants, if they are not a net drain on the American economy and they put in more than they take out, like they pay more in taxes, they contribute more to the GDP, they contribute more towards economic productivity and growth inside of American industries than they do take out of that tax pool, of that revenue pool through social safety nets that exist in some states, not all states, and none on the federal level to help low-income undocumented immigrants. And at the end of the day, the American government and state governments are going to have more money at the end of every single year because of undocumented immigrants. So of course you are going to have to demonstrate that they are a net drain on the American economy in order to attempt to argue this ideal that for whatever reason we are losing all this money with them in our country.
They really don't.
Do American citizens
I
benefit
mean,
the
you
economy?
have people coming over here.
Wait.
From
I have a
war-torn
question.
countries, and
I
they
have a
are
question.
saying,
I have a question. Do American citizens benefit the American economy?
yes.
Oh, wait, but I thought that we had social safety nets for American citizens.
Well, yeah.
Oh, wait,
because
explain to me
we want
how.
to have social nets for American
Explain to me
citizens,
how.
not people who are not American
Explain to me
citizens.
how American citizens can still help the American economy, even though we have social safety nets for low-income American citizens. Explain
Because that's
that
taking care of
concept
our
to
own
me.
people, not taking care of other people.
Wait, you're not answering the question. Can you repeat the question I just asked you?
Yep. And that is asking if low-income Americans benefit from social nets and from government handouts and all that stuff.
No, that's not what I asked. Let me repeat it again. I'll slow it down this time. You told us that you think that that American citizens, right, contribute and grow the American economy. Okay, they're productively, economically speaking. Explain to me how American citizens can be economically productive and generate more money for our government at the end of the year every year, even though we have social safety nets, which we lose money on, designed for low-income Americans. Explain that concept to me. How can that happen? How can that be?
See, I actually really support that. I think low-income Americans, I think social nets are actually a really good thing and help.
Dude.
You know, this is not really a right-wing opinion, but I think this sort of stuff actually really helps a lot of people in America.
Can you
See,
answer the
I just
question,
don't
though?
want this
You're not
going
answering the
towards
question.
people who are not,
Bruh.
who are coming into America illegally.
Bruh.
I just don't want that going towards them because
Okay.
they're not
All right,
American.
all right.
I think our country should take care
I'm giving you
of
too much grace. I'm
us.
giving you too much grace here. Repeat the question that I asked you.
I know the question you asked me,
Okay, then
bro.
repeat
Don't try and do this, like teacher moment, like you think that you have a good idea.
Yo,
and
please
then,
just
bro,
repeat the
like,
question that I asked you. Please.
Nah, bro. Nah.
Okay, why won't you repeat the question that I asked you? Why are you being so dense?
Because
It
you're
almost
using
sounds
it
like you don't have
unfairly
the
to
discussion
try
at
and
all.
debate me like that, bro, dude.
Wait,
Like,
how can a
debate
question?
tactics,
How can
yeah.
a question be unfair?
It's not unfair, dude. You're trying to make me repeat a question, then you're gonna try and trap me on it. I don't care, bro. I see, bro.
Okay, I'm gonna repeat the question. So here's the question. Okay, you told us that you think that American citizens help the American economy. Okay, so here's the question. Explain to me how American citizens can help the American economy, even though we have some social safety nets that lose money giving services to low-income American citizens.
Bro, we're not trying to talk about American citizens. We're trying to talk about people who are illegal immigrants.
I know, but the conceptual
I'm
takeaway
deflect.
here-
I'm not even going to call people.
It's not even a deflection. It's just simply a conceptual takeaway because the answer to the question is very simple, okay? Right? The reason American citizens are still economically productive and provide more than they take out, even though we have some social safety nets for low-income Americans, is because the total amount that we pay in taxes and contribute to the American economy generates more total value than the value expensed on those social safety nets. That is the answer, okay? Right? And I'm describing that this answer also applies to undocumented immigrants. Although some states have some social safety nets, right, that cost value to run, to pay for, to fund, and to give those benefits to the undocumented immigrants, as a whole, undocumented immigrants work. In fact, they're more likely to actively participate in the labor force. As a whole, undocumented immigrants pay $100 billion per year in taxes and contribute $1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion to the American GDP per year. So they generate more value in the American economy than the value that is lost funding for and paying for those social safety nets. Do you get it now?
Well, you kind of lost me at the fact that you called them undocumented immigrants instead of illegal immigrants.
Dude, oh my God.
They're breaking laws coming in here, dude.
Okay. Yo, they're breaking laws, so therefore let's strip them of their humanity and call them illegals. You call a 34-count felon adjudicated rapist the president. Bro, you can't respond to the point. I want you to bow out with defeat and shame and run away. Stop wasting my time. Bow out with defeat and shame. I'm upset at you. I'm not going to be nice at you any longer. I have been good faith. I've been trying to be patient. I've been trying to be kind. I've been trying to have a good dialogue with you. And now we're at a point where you are refusing to not just answer the question, but even to conceptually understand the question. And honestly, the reason being, I think, is because you know that if you were to stop being dense and open your mind, you'd recognize that I'm right on this point, and you cannot stand the idea that the liberal is right and the conservative is wrong. So you're like flipping your shit over here, pivoting, dodging, deflecting, and whining. Come on, dude. If there's one thing that really irks me, grinds my gears, it's that. It's that right there.
See, I've already conceded that social programs are good, just not social programs for people who come here illegally.
But that wasn't the question.
So I think there's great stuff with, leftism. I just don't think that's okay.
That wasn't the question that I asked you.
Well, you lost me when you said illegals.
Okay, all right.
You won't concede an inch.
Okay, so you're not even going to engage with the question?
Not really, no.
Okay, why are you not going to engage in the question?
Because you're not negotiating in good faith either. You won't.
Why am I being bad faith?
Yep.
How am I being bad faith?
I already saw you trying to trap me multiple times, dude. Nah.
How is a question a trap?
Not the bat. Oh, that's a trap.
How is a question a trap?
Because you're trying to trap me on stuff. I can already tell.
I'm not asking you to just repeat the fact that you think it's a trap. I'm asking you to describe why it's a trap.
Look, dude. I respect you a lot. I think you're a good debater, but I can tell you.
Can you describe why the question is a trap?
That's asking me to describe stuff. That's pretty big of a trap. Yep.
Did you seriously just say that me asking you to describe how reality coincides with your political views is a trap? You're calling critical thought a trap.
Critical thought is good. You're not asking for critical thought. You're asking me for to
Oh God. Where did we go wrong? We're going to move on to the next guest. It's just like, where did we go wrong? How did we get here? I can't believe that he said that out loud. Crazy work. Okay. All right. We're going to move on to the next guest, guys. Hop in that queue if you're an American adult that supports Trump as president. We're going to get you connected into the stream right now, guys. Please make sure that if you are in that queue that you do indeed support Trump. We'll get you loaded up in here. Quite frankly, here we go. Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump?
Yo, you're a loser, bro.
All right. That's a yes. How old are you? I'm going to go ahead and take that as you being under the age of 18. Let's go to move on to the next guest, guys. Hop in that queue once again. If you support Trump, we are only looking for debates here. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here right now. What is up? How old are you?
Everybody follow me.
Oh, it's just a small kid. Goodbye. We're going to go to move on to the next guest. Let's go to get, well, it's about to repeat myself for the third time there. Let's try to find somebody that's following the rules. We're going to go to get MLC Viper up here right now. Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I support Trump.
Okay, and how old are you? You want to pause?
Sorry.
There you go. You're back. How old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
2007.
What month?
What?
What month of
March.
2007? March? Okay, you would be 18. Here, let me thank a couple people here real quick. First and foremost, dude, Michael White. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat over at YouTube, man. That is so much money. I really appreciate you for the love, dude. Let's get fucking 500 Michael W's down below in the chat. Michael with a $50 says, this isn't much, but I've been feeling rather powerless lately watching Trump destroy our democracy, so I'm doing what I can to support people like you who fight with truth, common sense, and facts. What you do matters. Keep it up. Thank you so much for the love, Michael. That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you, man. Show some love to Michael down below in the chat. Show some love to Mike down below in the chat. And then just one other individual here, Camp. Thank you so much for the $50 as well over on Super Chat. I remember you, Camp. It's been a while. Camp says, hey, Dean, keep doing what you're doing. You're an oasis of sanity in a desert of crazy. Well, I really appreciate you once again, Camp. I know that you've been here a handful of times in the past. Thank you so much for the love. Show some love to Camp down below in that chat, as well as, give me one moment here, Thom, good to see you, man. Thank you for the $25 on Venmo saying you're the best. Love you, Dean. Love you too, Thom. I feel like it's been a while. As well as Cashlin, thank you for the $20 on Venmo, and Nathan with a 10. Show some love to Cashlin and Nathan down below. And then Mr. Parker, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. That is not like my buddy Parker. Hope all is well. Well, I appreciate you so much for that love. Show some love to Parker down below, as well as Conjure with the $10, Marilyn with the 2, and Rihanna with the 5. Thank you guys so much. Go ahead, tell me why you support Trump.
Um. Well, what do you think?
I think that Donald Trump is the worst president of either of our lives. I think that he's been making absolutely deplorable and terrible decisions in the last 250 days, or more so, 8.5 months. It's a little bit more accurate. Not a fan at all. But obviously, you're telling me that you are. You're telling me that you support Trump as president, and the question is why?
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I don't support Trump either.
Oh, okay.
I agree with you.
Well, I hope you have a good rest of your day, man. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the box. Only join in that queue if you happen to support Trump as president. Only join in that queue if you happen to support Trump as president. We're going to go to get that next guest, Josh, loaded up and connected into the live right now. Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump?
Shut.
Josh,
Hello?
what's going on, man? You MAGA?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 18.
All right, what year were you born in?
2007.
Okay, and why do you support Trump?
Well, first, I think he's just better for social issues. I mean, they've gone absolutely ludicrous on the LGBTQ. They put it in the schools. They don't have a sense of what's right and wrong. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't even live in the U.S. I live in Toronto. I'm an American citizen, though. I follow it. I see the propaganda that they push through the schools.
Okay, so
It is disgusting.
So very specifically, what is being taught in schools that you disagree with?
Well, I mean, it's just like you're being told that you're born a man, you can become a girl. You're a girl, you can become a man. Like, it's insane.
Okay, well, honestly, it doesn't sound like you got any education on trans individuals in school, because it's not a man becoming a woman. It's more so a disalignment between one's gender identity and phenotypical sex traits. So, I mean, I don't really believe you when you tell me that this education is in school, because it doesn't sound like you received it. Now, school teaches us about reality. That's what it is supposed to do. And it's supposed to do so at an age-appropriate level. So trans individuals do exist. That is a reality, okay? So if schools want to teach about this reality, I don't understand why you would think that's wrong. Now, what I will ask you is to point me towards very specific curriculum that you agree with, instead of like vague general concepts of, just the same bashing on members of the LGBTQ plus community that I hear so often.
Well, I mean, the specific, it's just the way that they allow it. Like, back in the day, like, this would be, like, considered, like, a mental illness. You see, like, it just...
Okay. Name one institution of medicine or science that considers it a mental illness.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know
Can
what?
you?
The last 5 years... I don't know. You know what? What I will say is that, of course, this has been peddled by society, okay?
Just like,
this has been
can
pushed
you name,
forward.
Listen. Can you name one?
I don't know any medical name off the top of my head. Like, this is a problem. It's been pushed and meddled and threaded into society that people cannot be told.
I have a question. What are your
wrong.
qualifications? You said that you're 18. Have you already finished a college degree in medicine?
No, this is I've not started that.
Okay, well, guess what? Do you know what the people with the degrees in medicine have to say about the subject? Well, they all denied to test the conclusion
the college
that you
individuals.
Yielded. So, yes, the individuals that went to school for 12 years and got a degree in medicine, absolutely. Yeah, the individuals who you trust with your life when you go to the hospital. Yes, those individuals. The World Health Organization, the American Psychiatric Association, the American Medical Association, the Endocrine Society, the British Psychological Society, the Royal College of Psychiatrics, the Canadian Psychological Association, the Australian Psychological Society, the European Society for Sexual Medicine, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Academy of Family Physicians, the American Counseling Association, and the American Public Health Association all disagree with the conclusion that you yielded, okay? And here's what I think, you have a tendency to do. When you don't understand something, right, that is going to be a blank spot in your brain. You don't get it. And you automatically fill in that hole of ignorance with hate. And I think that is incredibly divisive and incredibly hateful and incredibly harmful, okay? And I think the trend of individuals that are more educated than yourself on this subject unanimously yielding a different conclusion than you do, while keeping in mind that these are the same individuals that you literally would trust with your life if you were to break your arm, dislocate your hip, or get a head or chest injury to keep you alive if you were to go to the hospital, should prove this to you. Go ahead.
Oh, I see. Okay. So, well, that is exactly my point. I mean, this has been pushed forward, and it's not all the doctors, okay? It's a board. But my other question is, do you support transgender females playing in sports? Okay, so before we're gonna do anything,
Well, I gotta meet you again. We literally can't talk about that subject. It'll get you flagged and it'll get me banned. I do apologize.
okay, well, if we can't talk about it, we can't talk about it. But I mean, I understand. I saw one of the main reasons I'm actually here is because I did saw how you react to Charlie Kirk. You know, I was actually very impressed by that. But I mean, it's, to be honest, like, it's really only your side. Like, do you think this person who shot him was left wing?
Oh God. Okay. And now we're getting back into the Charlie Kirk shit. Okay. Listen, man. I actually want to ask you a question about something that you posited beforehand. So you said, or more so, you told us that you don't like teen individuals like being in women's sports. I'd assume like being in any women's spaces. So what I want to do today is, although I told you we can't have a direct conversation about that topic because TikTok restricts it, I want to ask you something that should be related in your own mind. Okay. So how would you feel about a cis man like you or me, right, walking into a woman's only space? How would you feel about that? Cis man like you or me walking into a woman's bathroom or maybe a woman's changing room. Would that be wrong?
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Yeah,
Would it
I
be wrong?
understand. I believe it would be wrong. I mean, personally, I would never do that.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I know where you're. I know where you're.
Right.
I know where you're gonna go.
Do you mind
with
if,
this.
okay, so now that you've told us that you think that would be incredibly wrong, okay, it would be even like more wrong if like a man like you or me like were to walk into a woman's changing room to specifically perv on and look at the women while they were naked and undressed unconsensually, right?
Yes, that would be wrong.
Right. If a man did that and then boasted about it to his buddies as if it was something cool that he did and then ran for president, would you ever support him a day in your life?
I see where you're going with this. Look, I mean, this is what the Miss Universe thing, the Miss something thing, like the modeling thing.
Yeah, I would definitely
I heard
really
about
appreciate an
this.
answer to my question.
Well, look, this was when obviously he was younger. But second of all, this is like an irrelevant thing because
Okay, well, you just calling it irrelevant
Look,
is not going to be answering my question.
So your response to I asked you a question. Oh yeah, we can't talk about that. But what I did want to talk about was Charlie Kirk. I mean,
Okay, well, so answer
you
my
know, the person.
You're doing the same thing that the last guest did. I just want you to answer my question.
Okay, well, when you put it like in such a format like that, no.
Okay, all right. Well, this just means that you don't support Trump because he did that. Like, you told us that you never support somebody as president.
You know what?
You told us that you
I'm
never
sure,
support somebody as president if
yes.
they've done these things. Donald Trump has done these things. I'll go ahead and roll a clip for you right now.
Yeah, I
Think
saw
about
that.
the conflict a little bit later
The
on.
question is, how can it not be construed?
No, I mean, some of these foreign girls, you know, Mr. Trump, in my country, we say hello with vagina. And
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now, tell
Well,
me
I'll
what-
tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, you know, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. You know, I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
You're like a
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he was the owner, so I obviously that's so. I mean, I personally wouldn't do that. But then again, I mean, he was, I guess you could say, inspecting, I guess. But my other question was,
What do you mean?
I understand that you keep on trying to bring this up. You probably have like 50 different points ready to talk about. I mean, that's what I would do if I was like in your position. But I just wanted to ask about the whole Charlie Kirk situation.
Can you expand upon your thoughts there? You just said, I guess he was inspecting it. What does that mean?
Well, like, I mean, he's like the owner. Like, I understand these modeling competitions, like, you know, they're all about that. So I
you
mean,
think because
obviously
he
it's wrong, but you
think-
framed it.
You think because he owned the building that the teenagers and women were naked inside of, that gave him the right to like unconsensually perv on them when they were naked. So if you were a business owner and inside of your business, you had restrooms, one for men, one for women. And while you had a couple of your like women employees were in the women's restroom, using the restroom, would you say that because you're the owner of the building and the business, that therefore you would have the right to walk into that women's restroom and unlock the doors to look at them while they used it?
I'm not saying that he's some perfect guy. No, like, I understand that this is like a total slam dunk for you, this point. I understand that. I said no. I answered your question. Are you going to allow me to ask you a question?
Okay, so stop squirming. Okay, because once again, what I said
Stop
right
squirming.
there was incredibly relevant because you just got done wrapping up telling us that he was the owner. He could do those things. He was the owner of the pageant. He could do those things. So we're just simply testing your logic with use an analogy to make sure that you realize just how wrong you are.
Okay, that is okay. I'm wrong. Are you happy? Now can I ask my other question?
Dude, no, we're not moving on yet because we need to finish and flesh out the subject.
We can't.
So now you have admitted that you're wrong on that point, and that was wrong for Trump to do. Earlier you told us that you would never support him if he had done those things. Now it's been proven to you that he has done those things. Do you still support him?
Yeah.
Is that not an explicit contradiction?
This is obviously another thing taken out of context.
What's the context?
The context is that, like, first of all, I understand the clip that you played. I understand that. It's not a great clip. But you have to, I'm trying to ask you a question. You keep on saying this. I say that it was
you
wrong.
just gave up halfway through. You just gave up halfway through your sentence. Halfway through your sentence, you literally gave up on trying to describe the context after you claimed there was more context. Don't just give up.
I said...
What's the context?
Because I don't know the context. That's the point.
Why would you say that there's more context?
That they played.
Come on. Isn't this just like...
There is.
Come on. I want you to take a step back. I want you to, like, introspect and reflect on the things that you are saying right now and recognize how insane they are. You listen to a clip of this man openly boast about perving on like girls and women while they're undressed in their locker rooms, and then your like reflex is to respond to that by saying, well, there's definitely some context that justifies it and explains it away, but you don't know what the context is, but you know the context exists. Why is it not evidently clear to you that you are currently engaging in like the oldest coping mechanism that is true of all cult members of all time?
Okay, well, okay, look, this is a good point. I would never do this. I agree it's wrong. It was just a bad thing to do. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it's bad. It's like, I don't know how you're going to find someone who's going to tell you that's like a good thing to do. It's bad. It is.
Okay.
Like, it's like obviously bad. But are you going to answer my question now, or are you just going to keep on, like, is the whole conversation going to literally just be about this?
Okay, well, now it just seems like you're just kind of admitting that you have an explicit contradiction in your view. So, do you have any other reasons why you support Trump?
Okay, well, can I ask you my question?
Does it relate to why you support Trump? If so, go ahead.
Well, yes. So, I mean, this is the thing about the left. They have branded themselves as the party of love and empathy. The party of the right wing was the hate party, the not welcome party. But, you know, the best example that I can think of is how we reacted to Charlie Kirk versus how the left reacted to George Floyd, who probably died of a fentanyl overdose, although I'm sure that the neon...
Literally in his statement, in his question, in his statement, where he was getting ready to frame an argument that the left is the fake party of empathy and love, and that the right is so hateful, but actually how this is false because of how the left reacted to Charlie Kirk. In that statement, to try to paint the left as a bunch of ruthless maniacs, he goes on to gamify and speak down, cast lies about the murder of George Floyd. You can't make this shit up. Like, you literally can't make this shit up. In that same breath, he cast lies to dispute the wrongness of the facts of the murder of George Floyd. Now, I did have to remove him because he said the name of that DRUG. We can't say the names of DRUGs on TikTok. However, I will respond to that claim nonetheless. No, George Floyd did not die from an FOD. In fact, you could read the medical examiner's report of George Floyd's autopsy, and they concluded that. That is what the medical examiners who did the autopsy of George Floyd concluded. They concluded that there was not sufficiently high enough levels of the FDRUG in his system to result in his death. Mello, I appreciate you for the chasing the dream. We're going to go to get that next Trump supporter up in here right now. Go ahead and once again hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that is pro-Trump. Go ahead and hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that is pro-Trump. Let's go to get that next guest, Ethan, up in the live literally right now, folks. Everyone, just give us a minute. Everyone, just give us a minute. Okay. It doesn't look like Ethan is loading in, so we're going to move on to the next guest right now. Hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that is for Trump. We'll get you loaded up and connected to the stream. We are going to do that right now. We got Johnny Smith connecting. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hey, man, I'm 21.
Okay, and what year were you born in?
04.
Okay, what month?
February.
Okay, all right. No worries, man. I just wanted to make sure. And do you support Trump?
I do. Yes, sir. I do.
Awesome. Before we hop into the debate, there's a handful of people that I do have to thank here. First and foremost, Kendra, thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. I really appreciate you so much for the love. Let's show some love to Kendra down below. That is Kendra. Kendra says, Trump removing info about slavery has me anxious AF about what's happened in our country. I'm scared to live in a place full of ignorance and hatred. I appreciate what you do because it brings me some relief. Please never stop educating others. We need it desperately. Hey, Kendra. Well, first and foremost, I appreciate you for being here and thank you for the $20 donation. I actually learned about that. I think yesterday morning, I saw that Donald Trump actually is beginning to literally take down things about slavery in American museums in the Smithsonian, which is just, that is insane. That's so insane. And honestly, if you can't see that that's insane, like I literally don't know what to tell you. I feel like that should be like obvious to everyone with a brain. As well as Danielle, thank you so much for the $100 donation over on PayPal. Holy fuck. Show some love to Danielle down below. Why do you support Trump?
Borders. I like my borders closed. I wasn't friends with her, but I have friends in the same sorority as her. It's Lake and Riley. I'm not sure if you know who that is. I'm sure you do know who that is.
I do.
And she was killed by an illegal immigrant. And I am pro-legal, and I am pro-legal immigration. Legal. I am pro-legal immigration. I love immigration. I went to a boarding school. I was friends with a lot of people from all around the world. So, Lake and Riley was a huge thing of why I support Trump. It's just because, I knew of her. I'm friends with girls that are in the same sorority. She was an AKO at the University of Georgia. I knew of her. I know friends who were best friends with her. And it's just, when I saw that, I just felt unsafe because the borders under Biden weren't good. And I hope we can agree on that there was a border problem under Joe Biden.
Okay, well, I'm actually going to talk to you about Lake and Riley first. So first and foremost, an undocumented immigrant did kill Lake and Riley. However, this doesn't mean that all undocumented immigrants have a propensity to violence or crime, right? Because obviously the motivating factors that played into why that undocumented immigrant killed Lake and Riley had nothing to do with the fact that they were an undocumented immigrant. Now, point number 2, are you a natural U.S. born citizen?
Yes, I am.
Did you know that you're 2.5 times more likely to commit a violent crime like murder than undocumented immigrants?
Well, because there's more of us than undocumented immigrants.
That is a per capita statistic accounting for the population size of citizens compared to that of undocumented immigrants.
Your statistic is kind of weird because obviously I'll be more likely to because there are more of people like me who are born in the United States than
the likelihood there is accounting for population size. You're more likely to per capita.
But there's crazy people everywhere in this world, and hope you can agree on that. And I understand that not all illegal immigrants are like that, or like the person who killed Lake and Riley. I completely understand that. But it's just, how can we know that? How can we know that?
How can we know what?
Just pouring, if they are going to murder somebody or not, just pouring into our country. How can we regulate that? By closing our borders and having people legally enter our country.
Do you know who Molly Tibbetts is?
I do not know who that is, but I would, if you can explain to me who that is, I'd be grateful.
Yeah, so she was actually a woman killed by an undocumented immigrant under Donald Trump in his first administration. And honestly, I don't know, man. Like, what this tells me is that a lot of individuals don't really care about violence, especially towards women. However, you just want to like talk about it when it's like politically advantageous to yourself. And I feel like this has been done by so many people on the right and so many Trump supporters, especially as it relates to Laken Riley. Like point number one, as I already pointed out, undocumented immigrants are 2.5 times less likely to commit violent crimes such as murder when compared to citizens. Point number two, mass deportation would actually cause higher overall crime in America by weakening our economy, increasing poverty, therefore increasing crime. And point number three, if you truly care about violence towards women, such as how that undocumented immigrant violently murdered Laken Riley, well, I just don't see why you'd ever support Donald Trump as president, considering the fact that a unanimous jury of 9 concluded that he violently raped E. Jean Carroll.
Well, to your point, your number 2 point, I'm pretty sure Obama literally deported way more people than Trump ever did. So your point for number 2 is kind of, I don't get that because I don't know the exact number, but I know that Obama deported so many more people than Trump did.
Yeah, and I disagree with the deportation of any undocumented immigrant that doesn't have a prior violent offense or outstanding warrant from another country. I do. Well, this would lead me to the conclusion of disagreeing with some deportations done under the Obama administration comparatively to that of the Trump administration. However, I feel like there's some other factors that we should take into account here, because although Obama definitely did deport a lot of undocumented immigrants, his goal was not to deport all undocumented immigrants, and he put a preface on those with prior violent offenses. And my evidence for this wouldn't just be his own speech, but it would also be the fact that he set up systems such as DACA that allowed undocumented immigrants without prior violent offenses to go to work and to pay taxes through an ITIN. Additionally speaking here, it's important to consider the fact that Obama didn't deport anybody without due process. Obama didn't violate our Constitution and the removal of undocumented immigrants to send them to torture prisons in El Salvador for 3 weeks. Obama wasn't rounding up undocumented immigrants and sending them out of the country, violating the withholding order of judges.
For them. He literally made the cages for these undocumented immigrants, and the left likes to blame Trump for it when Obama was the one who made those cages that Obama was putting all these people in. Do you agree with that?
Well, we're getting a little bit too far down the rabbit hole. I'm not familiar with the cages. I'm not familiar with the cages. I was 8 when Obama was president.
You talked about Trump's first term. I can talk about Obama.
Okay,
if you want to bring up Trump's first term,
because I'm not too familiar with what Obama did in relation to these cages. Can you please give me a source to demonstrate that Obama was keeping undocumented immigrants in cages? I'm just genuinely curious.
Look it up on any internet, on anything. Yeah, look it up. He made those cages.
Well, I would like you to give me a very specific.
Okay, listen.
I would like you to give me a very specific source.
Yes, Trump still used those cages.
Sir, I want you to give me a very specific source. I want you to give me a source that Obama used these cages. I'm just genuinely curious.
A very native news source like Fox or CNN or anything. They've literally said it.
Okay.
But yes, Trump did continue to use those.
Sir, I'm asking for a specific source.
I couldn't name off the top of my head.
Do you want to go look for one?
I don't have. If I exit the live, I can get my computer up for you if you want me to. But if I exit the live on my phone, it's going to kick me out.
You could scroll out of the app, go into Google, then come back. You could do that.
I can?
Yeah. Also, real quick, can somebody try to comment my name in the chat real quick? Just Dean. I want to see something. Can somebody just try to comment Dean in the chat? DEAN. Dude, how did my name get blocked from the chat? How did my name get blocked from the chat, bro? Dude, what?
The Washington Post made one.
I was so the curious. Sorry, I didn't mean for that over on YouTube. I was curious for that over on TikTok because I was cooking Johnny over here, and the only comments I saw were W Johnny. So it actually looks like my name DEAN is currently blocked from the chat. So I guess for the rest of the day, you're gonna have to be referring to me as DEEN over on TikTok. The new spelling of my name on TikTok is DEEN for the rest of the day, folks. That's gonna be how we get it done.
Did you hear my source, Dean? The Washington Post posted something about.
Okay, what's the title?
I haven't read it though. I just see the headline, but that's something that
So what's the
I saw.
headline? I can't hear you when you're off the app, by the way.
It says kids in cages. Hang on, let me go back to it. It says kids in cages.
Dude.
It's true that Obama built them or whatever. And that's by the Washington Post.
No, I asked you for a source that Obama like kept individuals in them.
I mean, he built them for that. I mean, why else would he build the cage for?
So there's no evidence that he kept them in. I'm just curious. Like I want to learn more. Like I'm not personally up to my neck in research about like the very specific nuances and intricacies over what happened. Would you allow me to finish?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Over what happened to do with immigration policy in Obama's first term, because I was like 8, right? Or even like younger, right? So that's why I asked you the question. And of course, like you would have to be the one to give me that source just simply because you're the one that made the claim. Now, here's what I will say, right? Like if Obama was deporting individuals with like, without due process, he was deporting a bunch of undocumented immigrants, those without like prior violent offenses. And if he was doing so in like inhumane like ways, I'm going to disagree with that. And I think that that's going to be a big difference between you and me, is like where I could actually disagree with things that even Democrats do. However, I feel like you're using this point of Obama to deflect away from what Donald Trump is doing today. You're basically saying if Obama does something that is bad, then it's okay when Trump does it. What I would say is that it's not okay if either of them do it, because I don't base my morals on party lines.
Yeah, and I appreciate you being honest. Yeah, I mean that's I don't agree with some Republican stuff. I don't. But that's just like my whole thing. That's why I support Trump. It's just because of borders, and and that's pretty much a small reason, but to me, it's a huge reason.
Can you
in
name,
my opinion, because
like
I felt unsafe.
one good piece of border policy that Donald Trump has passed so far?
I mean, he's building that wall. He's been putting lots of money into the wall, his own money, and
the wall. So the wall is going to be the big one. So did you know that Donald Trump built less than 52 miles of that brand new border
I actually
wall
did know that.
under his first administration, less than 3%. And then when the Biden and Harris administration conceded to the Republicans to build more because they wanted to pass the bipartisan border bill, Trump actually told Republicans to vote against it. And would you say it's a building of that wall that's been able to significantly reduce undocumented crossings so far in his second term?
No, I just think there's more border control now, and ICE. I think ICE has been doing a great part in, keeping the illegal immigrants out of our country.
No, ICE would be focused on Homeland Security. It's literally an agency under Homeland.
Wait, so hang on. You corrected me. Hang on. So you corrected me. Undocumented and illegal. Being an undocumented immigrant is illegal. I don't know why you're correcting me on that.
I mean, I just think that we should give them a little bit of their humanity back and call them undocumented immigrants. I think that our society as a whole takes so much of their humanity away.
But they are illegal, though. Can you agree that they are illegal?
So you define the term illegal immigrant as an immigrant that broke the law coming into the country. Of course, if you would apply your definition to the term, that definition to said term, then of course you'd be able to say that they're illegal immigrants. However, what I'm positing is that using the term illegal, right, is not incorrect given your definition of it, but is rather dehumanizing.
Okay. I mean, I'm sorry. I just used the term that's right. I understand. But there are
it's self-implied that it's right because illegal. Of how you define the term.
Sorry, undocumented. I'm sorry. If you want to say undocumented, we'll say undocumented. I'll respect your live stream.
I'm just saying,
I'll say
it's
undocumented.
just we should call them undocumented immigrants. It's simple. It's simple.
That's fine. Okay, I'll say that. But I just, I honestly felt unsafe with the undocumented immigrants because of Lake and Riley. I've told you that,
yeah. Well, a rational mind, literally, if a rational mind had to be alone in a room with a citizen or an undocumented immigrant, they would literally be safer, statistically speaking, with the undocumented immigrant.
Okay, and yeah, that's fine. But, if you close the borders off, you can. I mean, obviously there obviously are undocumented immigrants that do cause crime. So keeping them out of the United States of America can shave that crime down, obviously, because am I not wrong on that?
Actually, you are. We'd expect crime to go up because of mass deportation, because of its economically destabilizing effects. So poverty has a correlation and a relationship with crime. Poverty causes crime, and that's a fact. And what happens when you do a mass deportation is you're firing 8.4 million of our laborers and you're removing 11 million of our consumers. According to the American Immigration Council, this would reduce our GDP by an estimated 1.1 trillion through 1.7 trillion dollars per year, as well as it would cost $2 trillion over the next 10 years, accounting for what we spend on the deportation alongside the opportunity cost of losing the $100 billion per year that they pay in taxes. This would be incredibly devastating for the American economy. Okay, the outcome of this would be less efficient producers. They can make less goods because they have less employees to make their goods for them, and they'd also be making less goods because they have less people to sell them to, of course, because we'd be removing 11 million of the consumers in the American market. This would destabilize the economy, and this would increase poverty. And with increased poverty, we would expect more crime. So therefore, that's why I say a consequence of mass deportation is literally more crime in this country.
Okay. Well, so that stat, so when Obama deported, you can educate me on this, when he deported all those people, did all that stuff happen?
So I bet that we could loosely associate some level of additional crime and destabilizing economic effects, like pressure downwards on the economy, with the deportation. Yeah, that's going to follow.
Wait, hang on.
It's likely that Donald Trump. It's likely that Obama had some downward pressure on economic performance. However, I'm actually unsure, and I might need to put some more time and evaluation in that claim, given that he created work programs like DACA to get more undocumented immigrants to work. So although he did deport a lot of undocumented immigrants, for the undocumented immigrants that remained, he got more of them to work. So I actually don't know if the downward pressure would outweigh the upward pressure, if the upward pressure would outweigh the downward pressure.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, you say all those statistics about, mass deportations and stuff, it's it's already happened. And you don't have the stats to back that up because it's already happened, but none of that stuff happened, did it? You're kind of dodging my question. It's either a yes or a no.
Wait, I answered your question very directly.
I know,
I just answered it with nuance.
It's a yes or a no question, though.
Well,
is it not?
You're just telling me that you can't handle the nuance of the fact that he also created DACA and incentivized millions of undocumented immigrants to work. And now this can have potentially outweighing effects insofar as the overall economic impact of his deportations. Okay. That's obviously an important nuance to the equation of the overall economic impact of Obama's deportations.
Okay, so we can kind of get off this topic because apparently, obviously we're not going anywhere with it. But another thing is so I voted for Donald Trump in November. So why? I don't know anything about Harris. I know nothing about her. She hasn't done anything. I don't know anything that she's done. I don't know anything.
What?
With Kamala Harris, the reason why I voted for Trump instead of Harris is because I don't know anything that she can do.
So you voted without doing your research?
What?
Wait, bro! You're just admitting
What accomplishments has Kamala Harris done? Name three big accomplishments that she's done that affected America in a good way.
For sure. So 3 big accomplishments that Kamala Harris did that affected America in a good way would first be working alongside the Biden administration to pass the PACT Act that added $800 million. Now you're going to cut me off. Hey, can you slow down and allow me to finish answering your question? Oh, so we got a vigilante on our hands. So you're basically asking me a question that you don't want the answer to because rather you want to interrupt me to play vigilante. Which one is it, bro?
The worst it's been.
Dude, Dude, do you need a baby bottle?
That's not.
Do you need a baby bottle? Sir, do you need a baby bottle?
What?
Do you need a baby bottle?
I'm just...
Just calm down and wait for me to finish speaking.
But Biden,
nothing, because I was in the middle of my sentence.
Okay, go ahead, but she...
Dude, but nothing. Let me finish my statement.
Ahead. All right, go ahead.
Dude, this motherfucker. Holy shit. Okay, I'm going to get back to what I was saying. Thank you so much. So you asked me what are 3 big accomplishments of Kamala Harris that impacted America in a positive way. Sure, as both her and Biden said, she was 50-50 with Biden and working on passing some of the most monumental legislation in modern U.S. history. One of her really big accomplishments would be the PACT Act that funded the VA by an additional $800 million per year, which allowed the VA to offer new benefits to over 1 million veterans that didn't have their elements covered previously under the VA. That's a huge accomplishment. Her second large accomplishment, because you asked me for 3 here, would once again be working alongside the Biden-Harris administration to pass the Chimps and Science Bill, which invested $30 billion through government subsidies into American chip producers to bump our global chip production from below 1% to upwards of 30% in 6 years. And the reciprocal effects of this on private and fixed investment into American manufacturing was insane, as it boomed the largest it has boomed in the last 50 years in this country under the Biden-Harris administration. Now, the third big accomplishment in the last 4 years that she achieved that was for the betterment of the country, working alongside Biden, would be passing the infrastructure bill that invested upwards of $1 trillion into rebuilding American infrastructure. And this investment was at a crucial time where people had low confidence in the economy. People were out of jobs. They didn't have money to spend, and we were barreling towards a recession. Then they passed this investment bill, which got more people back to work, which put more money into more people's pockets, and it led America into having the fastest rebound from the negative economic impacts onset by the pandemic when compared to any other country in the G7. Those are her 3 massive accomplishments in the last 4 years working alongside Biden. And now I'm actually going to ask you the same question about Trump. Name 3 highly specific things that Donald Trump has majorly accomplished that has been for the betterment of this country.
Jobs. A big one is jobs. We had the most jobs like in a very, very long time under the Trump administration.
When?
Our economy.
Because of what?
So, I'm sorry?
Okay, when did we have the most jobs, and what did Donald Trump do to cause us to have the most jobs?
I mean, he had a great economy. Like, our economy was booming.
Okay, but like, what did he do to make the economy go boom?
Hang on. You got mad at me for cutting you off, and you're cutting me off. So
Fair.
All right. So jobs was a huge thing under the Trump administration. I mean, you can tell me that's not wrong. It was huge in the economy. So my dad, he's a huge investor, and the economy was booming after COVID. That shit went up like immediately, like in April or like May of 2020. That stock, everything was up so high. We had the best economy. Never mind. Best economy in so many years. We had a great economy. And another one is military and closing borders. Our military is amazing under Trump, and also his salary is all donated too.
Okay.
That's awesome, is it not? Do you not agree with Charity?
So we're going to go point by point. The first point that you brought up that was like a massive accomplishment of Trump's was jobs. So what did Donald Trump do to create jobs?
I'm not that educated. I'm not going to lie to you, but I know he created a lot of jobs.
And how do you know
if you can explain to me, that'd be great.
And how do you know it's one of his accomplishments?
I read it on the White House website.
The White House just told you he created them? So therefore it's
their website. It was like I read it like a few years ago. There was like a whole list of them.
So you're literally saying that you read like the fact that he created these jobs off of his own website that he controls.
I mean, you're on a PC looking up everything. I mean, this is my brain versus your PC. It's kind of hard to.
So do you just think that like Donald Trump is like infallible?
What do you mean?
Like Donald Trump is like always right.
Oh, hell no.
So then how do you know he was right when he said he created all these jobs?
I mean, I trust the website. I don't know. I mean, I think everyone lies.
Well, you understand, like, the website that you're talking about, the White House website, that is just like what he says.
It's a statistic, though. I mean, like, you've seen it. I mean, the jobs were
are you talking about, like unemployment rates?
Yes.
The Biden-Harris administration had lower unemployment rates than Trump's in his first term.
Really?
Yeah, like, for instance, something that you said there was, like, we had, like, one of the lowest, like, unemployment rates for, like, Black Americans under his first term, right?
Okay.
You said that.
Right? Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah, so that was in August of 2019 at 5.3%. In April of 2023, the unemployment rate for Black Americans was 4.8%. And then in January of 2024, the unemployment rate for Black Americans was 5.3%. So there's actually 2 points under the Biden-Harris administration, one where it was lower and one where it was the same.
Okay. Well, I mean, I honestly just think that, you have some great points, and I'm kind of stumped right now, I'm not going to lie to you. But, also, the Second Amendment as well is a big thing on mine, too.
Okay.
I think Trump is protecting the Second Amendment. I don't know if I can say that. Can I say that on TikTok? Or will you get banned?
You can say that on TikTok, and I'll happily refer
Okay, yeah. So the Second Amendment is a huge thing for me. I personally bear arms. So, I agree with the Second Amendment. I'm a big hunter, so I also go hunting a lot. And I think, with gun control and all that, like, people want to take away our guns, and I don't like that. I never understood that. Like, I like to go hunting. I put food on the table when I go hunting. So gun control was a big thing for me because, I'm not going to say where I'm from because, people on live right now, but like exactly where I'm from, but I'm from a pretty big city where the crime rate is pretty high. I also go to school somewhere that's not too far from a city where the crime rate is extremely high. So, in my opinion, another reason why I voted for Trump.
Oh, whoa. You're just telling us about the Second Amendment. So let's stick on that.
Yeah, for gun control, Second Amendment. Yeah, the right to bear arms. I think that's a very important amendment.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's have a chat about that. Quickly before we do, I'm actually going to go ahead and thank a handful of people for their incredibly kind donations. You guys have been going like absolutely insane. Like seriously, I really appreciate you guys. Leah, thank you for the galaxy. First and foremost, I would really like to appreciate or to thank Jeebus for the $50 super chat over on the YT stream. Thank you so much for the love, Jeebus. So let's get 500 Jeebus W's. That is Jeebus. They just spammed a bunch of baby bottle emojis with a statement. I'm fucking dead, bro. Dude, thank you for the $50, Jeebus. That is incredibly kind of you, as well as Hanners. Thank you so much for the $50 over at Super Chat as well. Thank you so much, Hanners. That is incredibly kind of you. Hanners says, "Hey, Dean, glad to see that you're back. I always look forward to your stream. Because of you, I've become a lot more knowledgeable on the economy and politics, and in general, I'm more aware of what's going on. I appreciate the hell out of you. Keep it up." Hanners, I'm really happy that you take something positive away from the streams. That is why I do this. Thank you so much for being here. Guys, Jeebus and Hanners, I appreciate you both so very, very much for the love. I'd also like to quickly thank Evelyn for the $20 over on Venmo. Evelyn says, "Hey, Dean, just wanted to say I'm an early learner who's just now getting into debates, and you've been a huge help in my education and speaking." That's awesome. Thank you so much, Evelyn. As well as Lana, thank you for the $5. Then Naughty, this was 15 minutes ago, but thank you for the $20 donation over on Venmo. Show some love to Naughty down below in the chat. Naughty says, "Yeah, I missed my fix of Dean roasting. We are so back. Hope you've been good on a more serious note." Well, I'm happy that you here. We are back, and thank you so much for the $20. As well as Juliana, thank you so much for the $15 over on PayPal. And then Kate, 20 minutes ago with the $10. Thank you so much, Kate. And then Madison, 22 minutes ago with the $10 as well. Thank you, Madison. And then Mary, 20 with a $20 33 minutes ago. Thank you so much for the love, Mary. You guys are absolutely fantastic. And let me make sure I also just didn't miss anything over on PayPal. Madeline, thank you for the $5 and Emma with a 10. Thank you guys so much for the love. If you do want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio over on TikTok or in the pin message on that YT stream. Now, to get back to the debate, I want to talk to you about what you just brought up surrounding the Second Amendment. I don't even know where to start. I truly don't. How about we start here? So first and foremost, out of the last two administrations, what is the only administration to pass gun control that infringed upon the Second Amendment?
Probably, if you're asking that, probably Trump.
Yeah. He passed a ban on bump stocks, which SCOTUS was unconstitutional.
Do you know
what did the
bump
Biden Harris
stock
administration
is?
do? No.
Do you know? Hang on. Do you know what
yes.
a bump stock is?
Yes.
What is bump stock?
It's a stock that you could put on typically ARs, where it'll bump against your body, and it could kind of fling your finger back into the trigger. So it's quasi automatic.
Yeah, and honestly, I agree with that. I think fully automatic weapons are only for people who are trained, like people in the military are able to use them. I agree with that.
Right, and honestly, I might agree with the bump stock ban too, but the point is to demonstrate that he passed legislation that literally did infringe upon your Second Amendment, and according to the arbiters of the interpretation of the Second Amendment, which would be the Supreme Court. Now, something else that he's done in his second term so far, which should make you, as somebody that is significantly pro-2A, very upset about the Trump administration, is their push to ban guns from being owned by trans Americans. Okay, so first and foremost,
that's impossible. That's impossible. Don't even bring that up. You can't do that. That's against the second. You cannot do that. That will never be passed. That's illegal. That's against the Constitution.
Which is exactly why I'm bringing it up, because they're pushing for something.
It's not going to be passed. You can't. You literally cannot pass that. That's against the Second Amendment. Come on, bro.
I appreciate your words, because everything that you're saying right now is true. He will not be able to ban gun ownership for trans Americans because it is blatantly in violation of the Second Amendment. But the reason why I bring it up is because you told me you support Trump because you're so pro-2A. So therefore, I'm going to give you an example of him and his administration pushing for something which we can agree is, blatantly in violation of 2A.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's, okay, I don't really know. I didn't even know that he even made that up. I don't even know that was even a thing, that he even tried to do that. But, Biden wanted to take away the AR-15s. As you know, he was very pushing for that, which, I don't agree with, and, I know you don't think I'm assuming that you don't like AR-15s, but I'm going to tell you why I personally think semi-automatic weapons are very crucial for the Second Amendment. So, you're half asleep in your bed or asleep. You're fully asleep. You hear somebody come in, your dog barks, or you hear the door open or whatever. Like, you're just waking up. Do you really think one shot, like, you might miss, and it might not be a kill shot? Wouldn't you rather have a bigger magazine so you could have like more chances?
This is a bad argument.
How is it a bad argument?
Yeah, in home defense.
How is it a bad argument?
In home defense scenarios, there's not going to be a single home defense instructor that would recommend you attempt to defend yourself in your home with an AR because of how long they are. Most individuals that are instructors for like self-defense in home defense with firearms will recommend that you use a shotgun or a pistol if you happen to live in a condo with like walls to neighbors. But not a single like firearm instructor would recommend you use like a long-barreled like AR for like home defense.
Well, I mean, what if that's all you have? Like, what if that's all you have? The first thing you pick up, AR. Like, what if that's all you have, dude? I'm just saying, dude. I'm just saying, like, there's
remember,
like
the premise of the argument here is that you don't think that they should be banned because of like use in like home defense scenarios, but in home defense scenarios, it's actually significantly better to use other.
Do you really think like when you first wake up in the like middle of the night, you're gonna hit your first shot? No.
Well,
no way.
Well, exactly. That's why you want to use a shotgun most predominantly in like self-defense scenarios inside of the home because of the spread of bullets.
Well, what if
once again, just giving like more reasons why you should want like a shotgun over an AR.
Okay, so a shotgun is a very short-range gun. What if you have a giant house, long hallway? A shotgun can't reach that far.
Have you ever shot a shotgun?
A duck hunt. Yeah, I've shot a shotgun.
Okay, well then you know if you duck hunt that you can actually shoot a shotgun like over 10 feet away from you, and that's just something that's only true in like Fortnite and Call of Duty.
Dude, it depends what kind of load you have.
Dude, when you're duck hunting, like, dude, you're trying to shoot like very small targets moving in the sky at fast rates, like 100 feet away from you. Of course, shotguns can hit things from range.
Okay, well, I mean,
right, like, are you saying like, what if you literally live in like, I don't know, like the Taj Mahal, and you're trying to like shoot somebody from like half a mile away inside of your house?
Someone out there might have a long ass hallway that's longer than 20 yards. I would never take a shot at a duck.
Okay, well, sure. I agree that if you live in the Taj Mahal, not in every single conceivable scenario of self-defense inside of the Taj Mahal, right, is a shotgun going to be like the best tool to use. But at that point, maybe you're just better off with like a single shot long rifle.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably right. If you can't hit a shot, you probably deserve to die if you are sitting there like.
I don't think that anyone deserves to die. I don't think
so either. But all I'm saying is just that's just why I voted for Trump. If we can't agree on it, that's fine.
Listen. Let's just get back to the substance here, because you're telling us that you voted for Trump because the last president wanted to take away ARs. Well, didn't we just go over how Donald Trump doesn't want to just take away ARs, but literally like every gun ever from trans individuals? Isn't that significantly worse?
Dude, I don't support everything that he says. Just like you don't.
But it's worse inside of the context of this conversation. You're telling me that you support him rooted inside of the Second Amendment, even though he was literally objectively worse for the Second Amendment and wants to take away more guns than Biden did.
Okay, well, he can never pass that. I don't agree with everything that he does, but
just like apparently Biden wasn't able to get the AR ban passed.
I would feel safer with the Second Amendment, like it not going away under Trump than under Biden.
But I thought we just agreed about like the Second Amendment literally being challenged right now and potentially going away because of Trump. And if anything, I'd argue here that Trump is a significantly larger threat, not only to the Second Amendment, but like all amendments in the Constitution, because he doesn't care about them. He doesn't care about the Constitution. In the last 250 days, he has already blatantly infringed upon the First Amendment. He has already blatantly called for the termination of the 22nd Amendment. He's already blatantly infringed upon the 14th Amendment. He's already blatantly called for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution, in December of 2022. 100 days into his term, he told an ABC News reporter that he doesn't even know if he has to hold to the Constitution or not. If you want to see a threat to the American Constitution, a wannabe dictator, a wannabe totalitarian that just gets to do whatever they want, whenever they want, look no further than Trump. And in fact, look no further than literally 2 hours ago, right before I started my stream, he pressured ABC into canceling Jimmy Kimmel's late night show because Jimmy Kimmel said something that he disagreed with. Okay, what kind of dystopian world do we live in where the media is not a realm of public discourse over conflicting thoughts and differing beliefs, true or false. We get to challenge them, criticize them, or condemn and uplift them when they're true. But now it's rather where those that hold the power and the influence get to bully and command organizations into silencing people because of what they say and the fact that they disagree with it. Once again, just further demonstrating my point that Donald Trump doesn't care about our singular rights, liberties, and freedoms, even those guaranteed to us by the Constitution.
Yeah, and you make a great point. I mean, I think freedom of speech is a huge thing. I think everyone should have freedom of speech, and I understand that Jimmy Kimmel, he said some, pretty, what's it called, just not very good things, but at the same time, you have freedom of speech, you can say what you want in this world. But, like I said, I will stand on it. I would prefer a Republican president for the Second Amendment over a Democratic president. That's just my opinion. And if we can agree on that, that's fine.
But that's your opinion, even if the Republican president has called for more gun bans than the Democratic president.
The bump stock, that's been illegal.
No, I'm talking about wanting to ban all guns from being owned by trans individuals.
I mean, I think all gun laws should be banned from mentally ill. I mean, I'm not saying trans people are mentally ill. I'm not saying that. Don't kick me. I'm not saying that.
If you're not saying that, then why was it your response?
I'm just saying the only people that it should be banned from are people that are mentally ill.
Okay, so not trans individuals, right?
I mean, no. I mean, some are, some aren't. So, like, everyone has something going on in their brain. There's a lot of people that are mentally ill. Wait, but I'm not sorry. I know
so like, imagine if like Biden called for like an ownership of guns for like every American ever, and then like my response was to say, I don't think that mentally ill people should own guns. Some Americans are mentally ill, so therefore I don't care that he wants to ban gun ownership for all Americans. Because that's your argument right now for trans individuals. By the way, I appreciate you for recognizing that it's not a mental illness, but your argument is fallacious in the sense that you're saying that you don't really care that he wants to ban all gun ownership for all trans individuals because some trans individuals may have mental illnesses.
Sorry, I think, I don't know if you muted me or I muted myself, but sorry. Sorry, that timing was awful. My bad. I didn't mean to say all that, but I'm just saying that, the only people that I don't think should own a gun are bipolar people. People that are bipolar, they have manic episodes. I've met people, like my uncle was bipolar. What do you mean, dude? Why are you saying, dude? Am I not wrong? Mentally ill people should not own a freaking gun.
Well, I don't think that you're qualified enough to even have this discussion. I'm going to be honest. I don't really think that like either of us are, I don't think that BPD would affect all individuals in the same way anonymously, as well as I think that there's a lot of individuals that have BPD that are able to control and manage the fact that they have BPD through various treatments and consulting with mental health professionals that I think would make them safe for gun ownership, etc. However, I just don't think that either of ourselves are qualified to have that conversation, and it's definitely a conversation that doesn't relate to the point that I was trying to make.
Okay. Also, so another thing with Trump, I just, like I said, I don't agree with everything he says. So don't think, when you bring up these points, oh, well, you agree with this, you agree with that. I don't agree with everything that he does, just like you probably don't agree with everything that Biden did, same thing. So when you bring up these points, I'm not saying I agree with them. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, I didn't think that. So first of all, I didn't think Biden was fit to run our country. Obviously, he was sick or something was going on with him.
I appreciate you guys for letting me know that BPD is not bipolar. Correction, not BPD, bipolar. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, so, I didn't think Biden was fit to run our country just because of, his mental state. I think that he was, not very, I don't know how to explain it. He just didn't look right. So then that's why he stepped down and Harris went. And I just didn't hear enough from Harris during her campaign that would be I want to vote for Kamala Harris. That's just me.
I did.
I know. That's just me. That's just me.
Well, I think that you just didn't do sufficient research, right? I think that the Odin or the burden would be on the voter to do their research about the candidates and to make an intellectually informed decision in the ballot box. And if you're just more so telling me that you didn't do that research.
Also, are people commenting on my second post? I'm so that because people keep saying second post on the comments.
Why did you cut me off?
I'm sorry. I just was kind of freaking out that people were commenting on my second post. People kept saying second post. I don't know what that means. Am I getting canceled or something right now? Why do you keep saying second post?
Don't go look at it. It's just don't entertain it. It's just,
what do you mean don't look at it? What are they saying?
It's just dumb. It's just dumb.
Now they're saying third post. What's going on here?
It's just dumb, bro.
Okay. Well,
What the fuck is that, dude? Bro,
what are they saying on my post?
What the fuck are you posting,
You're laughing looking
dude?
at it. What are they saying?
What the fuck are you posting, bro?
Me?
Do not get the chicken
Oh, yeah.
sandwich from Advanced Auto Parts. Then it's a picture of you grabbing
Yeah,
your
don't get it,
booty,
bro.
kneeling like in the driver's seat of your
don't
truck.
get it. Don't get it.
Oh wait, I actually have a question. How old are you?
Say what now? Sorry.
How old are you?
How old? Who? How old am I?
Yeah.
21.
Oh,
I'm a
Darn
senior
it.
at. What do you mean, darn it?
darn it! I was about to run a point on you because I see an anxiety pin in that second post.
Yeah, I'm
there.
21.
I was about
I've been 21
to run an argument on you. I was about to run an argument on you. Never mind.
Oh no, I'm 21.
And you also just said senior in college.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I want to go back to the conversation here. I think that the burden would rest on you to like do your research and to figure out like the campaign of the policies of the people that are running for the presidency. That seems to make sense to me. And you're telling me that you didn't do any of that research as it related to Kamala Harris, so you just kind of voted for Trump in virtue of that fact. I think that was an incredibly like bad decision. Maybe like some things that we could talk about here are like how absolutely devastating Trump is for the economy. You know, under the big beautiful bill, which was the most expensive policy ever signed into law by the American Congress in our history, clocking at $4.5 trillion. He defunded and gutted Medicaid by $900 billion and kicked 10 million people off of it. That's terrible. He also kicked 3 million people off of food stamps. That's also terrible. Like, how do you coincide your support for Trump with those facts?
I mean, like I've said this 100 times. I don't agree with everything, you know, but there are certain points where I do agree. Like the first point I know this is completely off topic of what you were even saying. Like in Raleigh, that's like the main reason why I voted for him. And that's just what I'm going to stand on in this entire conversation. I'm going to stand on that. I knew of her. I know people who know her. So, you know, that's just me, you know. I don't agree with murder, and I'm assuming you don't agree with murder either. And I was honestly scared, and that, you know, that was something that, you know, I looked at and was like,
I
man.
like totally get it, right? If like you like really didn't like the fact that like Laken Riley got murdered and that personally impacted you because like people around you personally knew her. But what you can't do is take that like genuine sense of like being like terrified and being in a state of like mourning because this person that like you had friends that personally knew was killed and murdered violently, to then turn around and perpetuate stereotypes to demonize and disenfranchise undocumented people in this country.
It's just a matter of
I just don't think that's
statistics,
fair.
Okay, and that's fine. I don't think that's fair, but you know, it's still, you know, not a friend, but I knew of her, and one of my best friends is really good friend with her, and it really, seeing her cry and her calling me crying about it, it really changed my whole, you know, brain on this whole politics crap. I hate politics.
But when you see a white man shoot up a school, that doesn't change your whole psychosocial like brain neuroanatomy insofar as how you view white men. So why is it the same for when an undocumented immigrant commits some violent crimes such as murder?
There's crazy people everywhere, man.
Well, exactly. When it's a white man shooting up a school, there's crazy people everywhere. But when it's an undocumented immigrant murdering a woman, all of a sudden they're the demon of the country. They're the fucking poisoning the blood of the states, and we need to like launch this mass deportation operation and kill our economy and disenfranchise families to get them all out, even though they're 2.5 times less likely to commit violent crimes. And in fact, when we do a mass deportation, ultimately there will be more crime in this country because there will be higher levels of poverty.
But you don't know that for sure. That's just a statistic, dude. Like, you can't know that for sure. Like, you can read all this math and all this stuff like that, but how do you know for sure a mass deportation would drop everything in this country? Like, you don't know that for sure. Like, they don't even pay taxes.
Yes,
they don't pay taxes.
Yes, they do.
Undocumented immigrants do not pay taxes, dude.
Yes, they do. They pay $100 billion.
The IRS is not going to go and audit them. They're undocumented.
Yes,
they don't know who they are.
Yes, the IRS tells us undocumented immigrants pay $100 billion per year in taxes.
I don't think that's true, but okay.
It is true. You said that you have a computer on. You go to it, type in undocumented.
I don't have a computer on me. You have a
$100
computer on me. I don't have my computer on me.
Okay, well, it is true. Undocumented immigrants work and they pay taxes, and this really shouldn't shock you either. The IRS makes you
taxes. Taking it out of their paycheck and paying taxes is two totally different things. The taxes might come out of their paycheck. They come out of their paycheck. They're not paying
Wait, those are totally different things at all.
They're not paying it directly on tax day. It's taking it out of their paycheck.
Sir, have you ever been like a sole proprietor, an entrepreneur? Have you ever ran an LLC or been a business owner?
No, I'm a student.
So every job that you've ever worked has been as a W-2 employee where you had your taxes automatically deducted out of your paycheck?
Every job?
Every job you've ever worked?
Most, and only one of them wasn't, but most of them were, yeah.
Okay, so you've never paid taxes?
No, I have. I worked for a lot of places that...
Oh, but I thought you said that having your taxes automatically deducted out of your paycheck, working as like a W-2 or W-4 employee is not the same as like paying the taxes yourself.
I've paid taxes myself and I've gotten out of my paycheck.
So the only time you pay taxes is when you pay taxes yourself?
No, also when it takes out of my paycheck.
Okay, so then they're not two different things.
I mean, they are.
No. So if they are two different things, when you're working as a W-2 W-2 employee,
the taxes
were you paying
that come out of
taxes?
paycheck, one of them is for Social Security.
Well, listen. I think that so if they are two different things, when you were like working as like a W-2 employee, sorry, actually W-4, I think it is. When you were working as a W-4 employee, were you paying taxes?
Sorry, say it one more time.
When you were working as a W-4 employee, were you paying taxes?
Like on tax day, yeah, but also my paycheck too. But
okay. So then you are paying taxes when it's automatically deducted out of your paycheck. That should make sense. Okay, it is W-2. I was right the first time.
That's what I thought it was W-2. But anyways, yeah, I mean, paychecks too are that's one form of taxes, but they don't pay the both forms of taxes that we pay. So I think it's a little unfair, in my opinion.
Wait, what taxes? Like, so if an undocumented immigrant is like working and like reporting their income and paying taxes, what taxes do they not pay that you do pay?
Sorry, I was reading comments one more time.
So if an undocumented immigrant is working, making money, reporting their income and paying taxes on it, what taxes do you pay that they don't?
Property taxes. That's one thing.
It's only if you own a house.
Yeah, on a house. I own a house.
Okay, but that's also good. So, dude, okay. Anybody that owns a house will pay property tax. That's not going to be mutually exclusive to citizens.
Property tax.
That's not a difference. Not all citizens pay property taxes because not all citizens own a home.
Most working citizens pay property taxes. Most citizens over the age of 30 most likely pay a property
Anybody
tax.
that owns a house in like most states like pays property taxes. What are we debating about? Anyone that owns a house.
Yeah.
And also, I don't think that you're right. I don't think that most people over the age of 30 are homeowners.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm kind of getting cooked here. I'm not going to lie to you. You're very, very smart, and you do this for a living. I don't. I'm going to be honest with you. I think you won here, but at the same time, I still support Trump. I still stand with him. And
oh man.
Well, I'm sorry.
Listen. I hope one day. I hope that you realize the notion of winning a debate means I was able to better effectively prove my points than you were able to effectively prove yours.
Yeah, because you have a PC in front of you, bro. Like, come on. Just hope that the I can't like look. I'm getting
my
cooked.
Points are more likely to be
so
proved
cooked.
yours. Okay, listen.
And what are my comments? I'm so scared to go out of this live and look at my comments. Like, out of 1 through 10, how terrible is it?
I don't know. Let me look. Usually when you talk about them on the live, it gets worse.
Well, I mean, I kept saying second post, and I'm scared people are like about to dox me or something.
No, they're not too bad. They're just kind of messing with you. They just kind of trolling.
How many likes did it have? Did it get some good likes on there?
No, it has the same amount of likes as before. it's like an additional like 20K views, but like not even like one person out of the 20K people that viewed it liked it. Oh, we're gonna move on to the next guest, guys. Hop in that QV Sports Shop. We'll bring you up here. We're gonna have a debate. Oh man, let's move on to the next guest right now. Quite frankly, right now. Okay, let's get that next guest loaded up. Okay, hop in that queue of your MAGA. We're gonna get you pulled up onto the stream. We'll have a discussion with you about why. We're gonna get Homelander Trump up in the live. Oh no, Homelander Trump. While we're getting this next guest loaded up, guys, make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen. What's up? Do you support Trump? Hello? Homelander Trump, I could hear you. Are you here? He's coming back to the phone, I think. Oh, he's walking. Did he sit down away from the phone? God, I really want to talk to him. We're actually going to leave him up here and go get our next guest. I really want to talk to him about something. Particularly the fact that Anthony Starr, who is Homelander's actor, despises Trump. Oh, he's back. Donald Trump Homelander, are you here? Guess not. Whatever. Bobby, unmute. I really want to tell that to him, but we're going to have to disconnect him. Bobby, go ahead and unmute. I really want to tell that to him. Hey, what's up?
Hello?
Hey, what's up, man? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18.
And what year were you born in?
2007.
Okay. What month?
March.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a driver's license? I'm not gonna ask this yet.
No, I don't drive.
You don't drive? Do you have a job?
Yes.
What's a W-2?
I don't have one of those.
What do you do for work?
I'm a fry cook at McDonald's.
Oh, then you do have one of those. All right. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go to get that next guest connected up into the stream right now. We're going to go to get Ethan B. Speaking, load it up into the live. I'm going to go ahead and, by the way, that doesn't like convincingly describe that he's a liar. I'm not going to lie. There's like a lot of individuals at work that are W-2's employees that just don't know what a W-2 is because for whatever reason our public schooling system puts no preface on like education on like finances and whatnot. But I'm going to say it's more likely than not. Let's go to move on to the next guest right now. Hop at that queue of you Sport Trump. We'll get you loaded up. We're going to get them connected right now. Quite frankly, let's go to get William up here as well as Elena. Elena, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Elena says, hey Dean, you make me laugh whenever I watch your lives. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Thank you so much for the love. I appreciate that. As well as I read the second half of your message. Thank you so much for being here. You are fantastic. As well as Tyler. Thank you so much for the $15 over on Venmo saying, how hard do you think South Park is going to go tonight? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday to you as well. And thank you for the $15. Show some love to Elena and Tyler down below in that chat. I didn't even know that South Park was releasing a new episode tonight. I'll have to check it out. What's up, William? Are you MAGA?
Yeah.
Ooh, you're also like 4.5, youngest person ever. Okay. Where is, I forget his name. Bald comedian. Where's that bald comedian when you need him? Howie, I think. Howie, where's Howie when you need? I think that's his name. Okay. We're going to move on to the next guest. Do give us a minute, y'all. We're going to go to get that next guest loaded into the stream right now, guys. Make sure that you are 18. Seriously, make sure that you're following those rules. As well as Richard, dude. Thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you, Richard. Show some love to Richard down below in that chat for the $50 over on Venmo. Richard says, thank you for all that you do. Just canceled my Disney Plus subscription for the Jimmy Kimmel decision. That is a crazy decision, Richard. We were talking about that at the beginning of the live. I even made a video on it. Like ABC, their orbiters, and the Trump administration. That is literally so terrible and frightening. Thank you for the $50. And what is going on? Do you support Trump?
Is that even a question?
No, it's obviously not because your name is Donald Trump X Homelander. Do you like Homelander?
So, of course, man.
Okay.
I've seen the show.
So Anthony Starr, that's Homelander's actor. Did you know that Anthony Starr doesn't like Trump?
Well, I appreciate the art, not the artist, you know. I like Kanye West's music as well. Don't like the guy.
How old are you?
18.
And what year were you born in?
2006.
What month?
October.
Okay. Dude, I'm not going to lie. First and foremost, I can't separate the art from the artist when it comes to Kanye. Like, his music just all of a sudden is shit. I also, I would feel scared playing it in public. I'm not going to lie. Tell us why you support Trump.
Well, that's just bias, you know? That's just bias right there.
Go ahead and tell us why you support Trump.
I like his social policy. I like how he handles world leaders.
You like how he handles so you like it when he gets played by people like Putin?
Well, actually, he's befriending Putin. You know, we've been too harsh against the Russians. We don't want to fight and destroy each other so the other small powers can come and take advantage like they usually do.
No, he's
We need to
been
have a
getting played by
strong
him. He hasn't been
America.
befriending him. He's been getting played by him. Like, so point number one, we had like leaked Kremlin documents where it proved that the Kremlin was like inserting and paying American political pundits to try to suggest to their crowd that we were giving too much funding to Ukraine. So then Donald Trump turned around and ran on the policy that we're going to take all their money away and that we're going to end the war day one in office. So then we defunded Ukraine. Of course, that's something Donald Trump did his first month, which then just led to Russia being less cooperative, giving the big middle finger to Trump, and then dropping the most bombs they ever have on Ukraine. And then he realized that he got fucking played, so then he, retreated back to what the Democrats wanted to do and then resumed all funding to Ukraine.
I mean, so what's happened to America since then? Nothing's really changed, has it?
This is just demonstrating how he's been getting played by other world leaders, and you told us that you support Trump because of how good he is at dealing with other world leaders. But obviously, getting played by other world leaders is not good at dealing with other world leaders.
Well, not just Putin, also the governors in our country, right? Some
Dude, our governors have been like
that
flaming him on Twitter. What the hell? Gavin Newsom? He's been absolutely flaming Trump on Twitter. I don't know if the governors fuck with him too much. I don't think the governors have never really fucked with Trump too much. In his first term, they like launched an association to like implement what were the qualifications and requirement under like the Paris Climate Accords, like on the state level, like defecting away from what Donald Trump wanted. And now same thing in his second administration with like a lot of like education policy, etc. So yeah, the governors don't really like him.
Yeah, I didn't say the governors are really too kind to him. Partially because
you support him as president because of how good he is at dealing with him, but they've been defecting from him.
Yeah, in a symbolic way, right? All the governors, they're these radicals. We have Zoran Mamdani in New York now, the communist, socialist. And we got the governor.
First and foremost, communism and socialism are two different things. Second of all, Zoran Mamdani is not governor. Third of all, he's not even running for the position of being governor. He's running for the position of being mayor. You have no clue what you're talking about. Tell us why you support Trump.
Well, he's a leader. Zoran Mamdani is a leader, right?
What does this have to do with why you support Trump? Could you just be like, I support Trump because
I don't like the left, dude. Who else am I supposed to stop? I don't like what the left did, you know?
So name one positive thing Donald Trump has ever done for this country.
What?
Name one positive thing Donald Trump has ever done for this country.
Yeah, he's detaining these immigrants that are in the country illegally, and he's deporting them back where they're supposed to be, not in this country.
Okay, first and foremost, your 23 posts is a screenshot of my armpit on a Jubilee video, and the caption is Dean's smelly armpit.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, man. But listen, you got to try shaving your armpits every now and well, because it's kind of disgusting. But that was a few months ago. I'm on my own grind now. I'm doing my own thing.
I don't think I've ever heard a Republican man say that before. Interesting. Wow. Anyways, we're going to go back to the conversation here. So you told us that you support him because you support mass deportation. Name one material positive outcome of mass deportation on America.
Containing our culture. These countries like you see Japan.
Culture?
And yeah, we have to contain our culture.
What culture would this country have if it weren't for immigrants?
The ones we currently have.
Can you be more specific?
Yeah, I mean, America wasn't America before the European colonizers took over the land from the natives. So
okay, so America didn't exist before Europeans genocided 100 million people. You're right.
The country, and the land existed. The land existed.
Right. Like the country didn't exist like prior to like illegal immigrants genociding 100 million people.
And they made their own culture, and we have to contain it. We can't.
So what is that culture? Could you be very clear?
Our values. You don't know what American culture is?
Yeah, I don't. What values? What culture? Be very specific.
Well, our democracy and our people.
Wait, how are undocumented immigrants anti-democratic?
Well, they come from different countries with different values and culture, and we can't entrust them with that.
I want you to be clear. Like, how are they anti-democratic?
You keep on interrupting. You gotta wait. I'm
just asking for clarification. You're not giving it to me fast enough.
But you're going all over the place. Just wait 1 second, right? Because we don't want anybody from countries where they're living in, let's say, Sharia law or a dictatorship. We don't want that because we don't know what kind of stuff they believe and think, right? Yeah. They might say one thing to the at the airport and then say another thing when they're actually in the country. We've seen this in the UK.
Yeah, a lot of immigrants.
law in the UK, even though they escaped.
Oh, wait, what time is it?
So I don't want
wait. What time is it?
What time is it?
Yeah.
3 p.m.
Okay. All right. Well, you're not even from America.
What do you mean?
It's 3 p.m. nowhere in America.
You know every single state's time zone?
Yes, I actually do.
That's a lie.
So I know that you have.
You're a pseudo-intellectual, Dean. You don't have to lie to me.
You have PST, then you have Mountain Standard Time, then you have CST, then you have EST.
Kill Charlie Kirk. And then
you have
kill that man.
Hawaiian
You killed
time zone.
him.
And now
you
you're
killed
freaking out.
Charlie Kirk.
Do you mind if I just ask you to calm down?
You killed that man. It's your fault.
Just calm down. I'm gonna ask you a question. If I killed Charlie Kirk, then you killed Melissa Hortman and her husband and her dog. If I killed Charlie Kirk, then you fractured Nancy Pelosi's husband's skull in an attempt to kidnap Nancy Pelosi.
Dude, the guy was a fan of yours. Tyler was a fan of yours.
I'm going to go ahead and kick you from the live stream. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Everyone, just give us a minute. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here. You wasn't even American. Let's go to get the next guest connected. Hop in that queue. If you are MAGA, we will get you loaded up. We got BG loading into the stream right now.
Howdy, Deans.
Do you support?
Sorry about that, guy. Yes, I do.
Okay, and how old are you?
I am 18.
And what year were you born in?
I'll tell you my job. I was born in 2007.
What month in 07?
March.
Okay, awesome. Let me go ahead and thank a handful of people, then we'll hop into the debate. Mr. Richard, this came in 20 minutes ago. I really hope that you're still here. Thank you. Actually, already thank you, Richard. It's actually Adam. This came in 19 minutes ago. I really hope that you're still here. Adam, thank you so much for the $50 donation over at Venmo. That is so incredibly kind of you. Thank you, Adam. Adam with the 50 big ones says, I would love to debate you, but unfortunately I agree with you on every subject. Here's a tip for fighting the good fight. And if I did it for the money, I would be a Republican. If I did it for the money, I would be a Republican. That is like why you see people like Benny Johnson and Tim Pool literally getting paid $500,000 per month by the Kremlin to tell people that Ukraine doesn't have a right to exist. I really appreciate you for the $50, Adam. Please show some love to Adam down below in that comment section. That is incredibly kind of you. As well as Sammy and Ashley, I appreciate you both for the $5. That is incredibly kind of you guys as well. And Brooke, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo, saying thank you for being you, so smart, and it's satisfying as fuck to listen, but also really scary how opposed to logic the red is. You're right. I appreciate you for the $10, Brooke. Thank you so much. As well as Amanda, most recent donation here over on Venmo. Thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Let's get 200 Amanda W's down below. Amanda with the $20 says, hey, currently on your live stream / longtime watcher. Appreciated how you talked about bipolar individuals tonight. I'm bipolar and never wanted to hurt someone because of it. It's crazy how other people view bipolar disorder in the world. I think that there's a lot of misconceptions through like misconstrued media, like painting bipolar people just to be like reckless and evil and like super aggressive in like all scenarios ever, when that's just simply not true medically speaking, and it undermines the experiences of individuals that actually are bipolar. I'd also like to thank Thiago. Thank you for the $15 over on PayPal from Brazil. We'll love to Brazil Thiago. That is Thiago, as well as Yeshua. Dude, what a cool ass name, Yeshua. I love that name, Yeshua. Thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. Yeshua says, big fan here. Is Park okay? I'm missing his lives. He's doing okay. In fact, I think he'll be back soon. As well as Emily with the $10 saying that last guest was crashing down a mountain of pivot. They all do. And then Sadie Rose, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. I want to see 500 Sadie W. Sadie says, thank you for what you do. Every mind you change makes a difference. I also learn something every time I listen, and I am in my 40s. Sadie Rose, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you so much for giving some of your time to the stream. I appreciate that you're here. And thank you for the $50 donation. Show some love to all of our donors while we start this next debate. Take it away. Why do you support Trump?
So I supported his economic stance, but first of all, can I say something regarding that last guest, just to get it out of the way?
Yeah, sure, if you want. Or we could just talk about Trump's economics.
That guy, he's just immoral. You know, I support Trump because he believed in the promises that, you know, you come here to work and you do a good job at that. I don't support anyone saying that you committed a murder, so
okay, well,
let's get that out of the way.
I appreciate you for saying that last guess was immoral. That is very kind of you, and correct of you. Now, you told us that you support Donald Trump for economic reasons. What economic reasons?
Yeah, he's lowered gas from, I think it's, let me actually get this up so I don't lie to your face unlike most people. Gas prices across the South have been lowered by a little bit of a dramatic amount since the Biden administration. Let me get it up for you.
Yeah, so gas prices in some places have gone down. What has Donald Trump done to reduce the price of gas in some places?
He's worked on getting bills passed that are, that are cost effective.
Unfortunately, my friend, you are not 18 years old. You are under the age of 18.
Love you.
Have a good one, bro. We're going to move on to the next guest, chat. I appreciate you for calling that one out. We're going to move on to the next guest right now.
Oh my God, it worked.
It did work. Hello. Real quick, Caitlin, thank you so much for the $5 over on Venmo, saying it's 3:45 in Hawaii right now. Fuck! Okay, all right. Well, he did actually say in American time, it is 3:45 in Hawaii. I was scared of that. Shit, I need to know the difference. So Hawaii is 4 hours behind me. Now, I'm never, ever, ever going to forget that. Thank you for letting me know, Caitlin. But I think by the way that guy was talking, he made it clear, I think the way that he reacted made it clear that he wasn't American. But thank you for telling me, Caitlin. I will never forget. As well as Natalie, thank you for the $1. Appreciate you guys. What's up, Ethan? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay. And how old are you?
I am 25.
So, Mr. Ethan B. Speakin', why the hell do you support Trump?
Well, everyone's talking about immigration, so originally I was going to talk about that, but now I think I will. So I don't think it's fair for people who come here legally.
Was it unfair too? I'm assuming that you'd say
immigrants that come here legally.
Would you say it's unfair to legal immigrants?
Yeah, well, not only them, but to us as well, but especially them.
Okay, well, I mean, actually, here's what I would say. So I think that if there's any unfairness between how fast undocumented entry could be compared to how slow legal entry could be, because it could take 12 years to become a citizen, a lot of that blame would ultimately go back to our own government for setting the preconditions and allowing a system to exist where legal entry literally takes 12 years, which has given so many individuals incentive to go around the legal means of entry and come into this country.
Yeah, but you can get visas. They might not get there.
I would also,
they might not get there.
Oh, if you would allow me to finish here. I would also like to point out that, I don't really think that undocumented entry is unfair, quote unquote, to legal immigrants in any material way because of how much undocumented immigrants help the economy of this country. Is it truly unfair to give better economic conditions for legal immigrants to be walking into once they get their residency or citizenship? In a material sense, I'm unconvinced.
Yeah, but can you truly compare the two whenever they're undocumented? So there's no exact percentage that we know. We can't put a percentage on it because we don't know.
So when we say undocumented, we just say that they don't have documentation for residency or citizenship, but we still have a lot of information about statistics surrounding undocumented immigrants.
Right, that are all estimated.
Per the American Immigration Council, we know that 8.3 million of them are working. We know that they contribute around $1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion per year to the American GDP. They pay about $100 billion per year in taxes.
Yeah, but that's quote unquote what we know. How many do we not know about? How many are working on their table that we don't know about that because they're undocumented? We can't put an exact percentage or number on anything. It's all estimates.
So now you're saying, well, there's possibly more that are working under the table? Well, I mean, that's actually...
Possibly, there definitely is.
That's just more reason to give undocumented immigrants a pathway to residency or citizenship. Think about it. If you'd think that they're disproportionately more likely to work under the table because, well, they can't claim federal benefits for the taxes that they pay and they can't file a tax return at the end of the year, well, then giving them residency or citizenship would just make more of them work over the table and pay more in taxes without any material change in their employment. So, if anything, the suggestion...
The ones that we know about...
Okay, you're not going to listen to me.
The ones that we know about, they send 20% of their income back to their own countries to be spent in their own countries. So what about the ones we don't know about? That's all under the table. A lot of them will make their money in America because it's worth 10 times the amount in their own countries and go back to their own countries, and they're rich there now. So they just take advantage of coming here illegally. And also it affects us getting jobs as well as people who came here legally because they'll work for lower wages.
So you're saying that because they have a quote unquote home country and they send money back, that therefore like they shouldn't be allowed to stay in the country. Well, like legal immigrants also have a quote unquote home country where they can send money back to if they decide to. Do you think that we should also stop legal immigration?
No, because they're not illegal. They came here legally. They went through the process. They did what they had to do.
Ultimately speaking, your argument has nothing to do with like quote unquote money sent back to their home country.
They have the rights. They have the rights.
So then you're saying that it has nothing to do with the money being sent back to their home country. And by the way, there's like no law to prevent undocumented immigrants from making money in America and sending it back to their home country. Want to clarify that. Meaning they'd have the right to do so too.
Okay, but
undocumented immigrants do have rights in America.
Undocumented immigrants will work for less money.
Yeah, they get lower wages on average because they have less bargaining powers. They're under the threat of being removed from the market via deportation. They don't have long-term survivability in the market because of mass deportation, as well as when they don't have a job, their conditions are worse because they can't access federal social safety nets. So are you telling me that if we were to offer them residency or citizenship so they're not under the threat of being deported, they have long-term survivability in the market, and they could claim federal benefits, that therefore they would make more money on average because they'd have more bargaining power, not only contributing more to the economy, but also increasing average wages per capita?
No, I tell them go get a work visa. That way they can be documented. That way we know who's coming into our country. Because another thing I heard someone else bringing up as well is the murders. So you say we're more likely to murder someone than an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, undocumented. Okay, well, what percent of murders go unsolved?
It's like 55.
Yeah, so like 55%. Wouldn't you say it's a lot harder to find someone that's undocumented? So we don't really know what the true percentage is that they could be killing at because they're not documented. We don't know who they are.
Yeah, can you please give me a source that twice as many murders go unsolved when they're committed by undocumented immigrants? Because that'd be the only way to demonstrate that undocumented immigrants are as likely to commit murders in America as citizens.
Well, what I looked up is what percent of unsolved murders can we pin race, and there's no percentage on it. So that means
pin on 55. Race?
Yeah, like how many of the undocumented or the unsolved murders do we know that we at least know their race, and there's no numbers on the race that we know. So the race could be anything. It could be Hispanic. Point. I mean, if that's how you want to word it, but the point is that we can't track it.
Okay, then you can't prove it.
And you think that's okay? You think illegals should be coming in here and untrackable?
So I think that your point here is that like the reason why you can't prove your claim isn't your fault. Okay, even if I loosely accept that the reason why you can't prove your claim isn't your fault is true, this doesn't change that ultimately, regardless of whose fault it is, you can't prove your claim, therefore you shouldn't believe it.
Well, it's their fault for coming here illegally. It's their fault.
This has nothing to do with the dialogue that we're engaging in. Once again, the dialogue that we're engaging in is the fact that you are suggesting that they're not actually less likely to commit crimes because you think they're significantly like better equipped to get away with crimes, but you don't have any data to represent that point is true. But then you're saying the reason why you don't have any data to represent that point is true is because if the data did exist, then they wouldn't be undocumented. Even if I just like accept this all, then you're basically just saying that you like can't prove your point and it's not your fault. And even if it's not your fault that you can't prove your claim, then you shouldn't believe it because you can't prove it.
I was simply asking if you would agree that undocumented immigrants, it would be easier for them to get away with murder. We don't know their name. We don't know anything about them. Would you say? I'm just asking. Would you agree?
I don't believe things without evidence.
Residents are caught, they would go to jail.
Not answering my question.
They would have consequences. Well, I'm getting to it. Would you agree that our citizens, if they are caught importing drugs,
you got to say DRUGS.
DRUGS. Do they have consequences?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, what consequences do immigrants have?
The same one citizens would have?
The same one citizens would have.
Yeah.
Okay, so if 15% of undocumented are still bringing it into this country, wouldn't you say that stopping that 15% is that would still be huge?
So you're not actually giving me an argument. So I'm going to ignore that because it's a pivot. Remember, the question was, what is Donald Trump doing to prevent the 85% of individuals that are bringing the DRUGS into the country that are citizens?
They have consequences if they get caught.
But I'm obviously the individuals that are bringing them into the country are not being caught because they're bringing them into the country. So what is he doing to them to prevent them from bringing the DRUGS into the country?
Let's see, Border Patrol.
Border Patrol's a word. You have to give me like an action plan or a policy as implemented by Trump.
I don't have an exact policy.
Okay, so then you're basically telling me that you can't really tell me anything that Donald Trump has ever done to reduce the amount of DRUGS coming into this country across the southern border.
Hold on, let me look it up.
Okay, while you're looking that up, I guess I have a couple people I could thank, so feel free to look that up. Hey, Kristen, thank you so much for the $10 and the 23 cents over on Venmo. Kristen with the $10 says, this is from my daughter Avery, who says that she is so upset about Jimmy's show getting canceled. Bro, me too. I don't even watch him, but it's like I'm upset too. Like sometimes I'll see his TikTok clips pop up. I'm going to miss those. But more so, I'm upset because of how big of a threat to free speech in the free marketplace and exchange of ideals this is. People in power shouldn't be able to limit speech of like large speakers just because they don't like what they have to say. That's ridiculous. Let's get 100 Kristen W's down below in that chat. I'd also like to thank David for the $10, saying thank you for the entertainment and also your support towards trans individuals really means a lot. Well, David, I appreciate you for the $10 and thank you for being here. As well as Ray, thank you so much for the $25 over on Venmo, as well as I read your message there. That is incredibly kind. Thank you so much, Ray. Show some love to Ray down below in the chat. Seriously, thank you so much for your message as well. As well as P with the $5 on Venmo. Layla with the $3. Thank you, Layla. And Gabrielle 13 minutes ago with the 15. Thank you. Thank you so much. As well as I read your message as well. I'm happy that I could help in your education process. I think that's awesome. As well as Emmanuel with the $15. He specifically asked me to not read his message out loud, so I won't. But I've seen clips of it, Emmanuel. But thank you so much for the $15. And then Kyra with the $10 on Venmo saying thoughts on Kimmel, RIP to free speech. Yeah, if you want my thoughts on Kimmel, go watch my recent TikTok or my recent post on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for all the love over on Venmo. Show some love to all of our donors, as well as Vada. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Vada. Show some love to Vada down below, as well as E. Smith with the $10 saying hello from New Zealand. Appreciate appreciate being able to learn from you. Also, absolutely love listening to your lives. Well, love to New Zealand, and I appreciate you for being here, as well as Audrey with the $10, Carrie with the $10. And Comfort PRO with a 7. I appreciate you guys so much for the love. Did you find that source?
No, because I started getting back to when you said 80% of, because I was already looking it up when you said that, and now I got back on that. Where exactly did you see that?
Yeah, for sure. I'll give you my source.
Because I'm saying here, when I try to look for the amount of illegal immigrants that do it, they can't provide a percentage because we don't know. So it's like, how can you say that 85% of it is from Americans when we don't know?
That would be the U.S. Sentencing Commission data for fiscal year 2024.
Okay, what does it say?
That U.S. citizens are the majority of convicted DRUG traffickers across the southern border nationwide, comprising 80% of offenders.
Okay, but that doesn't give the percent of that just gives a percent of people in America or people that are documented. So what about if you were to look up what percent of illegal immigrants or trafficking DRUGS?
That would be like the remaining 20%. So
how would that be the remaining 20% if when you look it up it tells you that we can't give a percentage? How would you know what the remaining percentage is?
It does give us a percentage. Like I just told you that the U.S. Customs and Border Protection gives us a percentage.
Okay, well, go find if you can find any numbers on any exact, because you're talking about Americans, you're talking about documented people,
right?
If you can get any exact numbers on undocumented
listen,
if you can find exact numbers.
Listen. So if we have two options here for pizza, either cheese pizza and pepperoni pizza, and those are our only two options, and 80% of the pizza is cheese, does this self-imply that the remaining 20% of the pizza is pepperoni?
Okay, but what happens when the remaining 20% doesn't even exist because we can't track it? If you say there's 8 slices of pizza, or
these are specifically individuals that were tracked and caught. Yes.
Okay, but but again, if you can go find any exact numbers on illegal immigrants,
I did. Yes, I just did. I just gave them to you.
No, those are people who were caught.
Exactly.
Those are people who were caught. So
right, which is the best idea of the demographic spread of those in which we have that are not caught. Unless you could provide me
idea.
Yes,
it's
the best
an idea,
idea.
but is it a fact?
The best idea. This would be the best reason that we'd have to believe for this conclusion. Yes.
Okay, but is it a fact? Is that okay? So like
yeah, it
when
is
we
an
say
inductive, probabilistically based argument because 80% of those that are caught bringing DRUGS across the southern border are citizens, meaning that 20% are non-citizens, and we have no compelling reason to believe that Customs and Border Patrol would be more likely to catch citizens. If anything, we'd have more reason to believe that they'd be less likely to catch citizens due to the fact that they'd undergo less scrutiny at the southern border than non-citizens would. Therefore, we could assume that it is more likely than not that 80% of all individuals that bring DRUGS into this country, caught or not caught, are citizens. And if anything, we'd actually have more reason to believe that those that are not caught are even more likely to be citizens as they undergo less scrutiny at the southern border. This would be an inductive argument for the conclusion. And by the way, undocumented doesn't mean invisible.
I'm good now.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is your percentage is based off people who were caught.
Yes, and then I gave you an inductive argument to conclude that because of the demographic of those that are caught, this gives us more reason than not to believe that those that aren't caught are either the same demographic spread between citizens and non-citizens, or even more citizens.
Yeah, but we know for a fact that that percentage of people who are caught, like that's a real, like that's a fact.
Yeah.
Right. So, is there any way for us to know for a fact that that percentage wouldn't be higher? If more, and so you're saying, so basically you're saying
like
more,
the inductive argument that I just gave you would entail that if anything, it's more likely that those that aren't caught would have the percentage of citizens be higher.
Okay, so what you're saying is if more illegal immigrants got caught, and that percentage, you would go up based off that percentage.
Right, I am going based off of that percentage through an inductive argument.
Okay, but don't you think it's a problem, the fact that we can't put an exact number? Yeah, we can go based off people who were caught, but don't you think it's a problem in our country?
Can you address the inductive argument that I gave you to conclude that we could reasonably conclude that those that aren't caught are going to have a similar demographic spread? Can you address that inductive argument?
No, because there's no way to know. There's no way to know.
I gave you an inductive argument to know it. Yes.
No, you didn't.
Dude, now you're just refusing to address reality. Yes, I gave you an inductive argument. I did.
Your reality is based off people who were caught.
Yes, it's based off of people that are caught with the use of an inductive argument.
So how okay.
Can you actually can you repeat the inductive argument?
Okay, can you give me an
No, shut the hell up. Can you repeat the inductive argument that I used to conclude that it is more likely than not that for those that aren't caught?
Yeah, and I said no.
Okay, you can't repeat the inductive argument, so you didn't even listen to it. So how do you know it's incorrect?
I've heard it. I disagree with you.
So then repeat it.
I don't need to repeat it.
Yes, you do. I don't think that you listened.
I do not agree.
Repeat it right now. I'm calling you on. I'm calling your bluff. Listen.
I do not agree.
I'm calling you on your bluff. Repeat my inductive argument right now. I'm calling you on your fucking bluff. Repeat my inductive argument. Do it right now.
I do not agree. I'm gonna repeat it. I do not agree.
You're not repeating my inductive argument.
That based off.
Why are you ignoring me? Do you even hear my voice? Repeat my inductive argument.
Okay, listen, just yelling doesn't make you right.
God, fucking ignoring me doesn't make you right. Repeat my inductive argument.
Okay, but every time, okay, see, like this is where it gets tricky with you, is because if I don't answer one of your questions and I go off something else and you do the same thing, it's okay for you to do it. When someone else does it to you, then you want to start yelling and get all mad.
No, I gave you an argument to reasonably entail the conclusion that those that bring DRUGS into the country that are not caught either have the same demographic spread of citizens and non-citizens, or if anything, are even more likely to have more citizens. I gave you an argument for that conclusion that you're ignoring.
I disagree for the fact that you're going based off people who are caught. So how many people are still how many people are still bringing DRUGS into this country that haven't been caught yet?
You cannot disagree with the fact I gave you an argument. Sure, you could attempt to argue that my argument is insufficient or wrong, but you can't say I literally didn't give you an argument.
I'm just saying I don't agree with. Listen, I'm saying I don't agree with the side that you're saying based off people who are caught, because that doesn't tell us how many people are still doing it that are illegal that haven't been caught yet.
It actually does.
It doesn't, though.
I will re-explain to you how it does. Are you ready?
Okay. So what percent of the people that were caught?
Sir,
so what percent of the people that are caught were the total percent of people doing it then?
Ethan, calm down. Can I re-explain to you how that actually does explain those that are not caught?
What?
Can I explain to you?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
How this does give us information about those that are not caught.
Okay, go ahead.
Because it's a sample set. That's how statistics work. When you're doing, like, for instance, a study, and you want to determine what percentage of Americans think that abortion should be federally legal, you're not going to go knock on the door and get the opinion of every American. You are instead going to take a reasonably large sample set in which you would conclude what size of sample set you need with statistical math that I'm unfamiliar with because I dropped out of college. And you would then ask them for their opinion while ensuring their randomness. And then you could take that and scale it up to what the opinion of everyone would be, right? Based upon that sample set. It's very basic statistics. Now, the way that we are applying this logic of taking a sample set from a group of people, determining facts about them, such as the fact that they're drug traffickers and the fact that they're citizen or non-citizen, is what we are doing when we're discussing those that are caught for DRUG trafficking. That is a sample set of everybody that is caught or not. And
but that's
out
accurate.
of the sample set of those that are caught, we are then concluding, right, the same way we do with studies in statistics, that this is going to be resemblant of those that are not caught. The one issue that would arise is randomness. Can we ensure that the sample set of those that are caught compared to those that are not caught is random? No, we can't. And in fact, this issue might indicate that there's even more citizens that are bringing DRUGS into this country that are not caught than those that are caught, because citizens undergo less scrutiny at the southern border compared to non-citizens. So we are using very, very, very basic statistics. Very basic math surrounding sample sizes that we use to conduct
How can we
studies.
have sample size? We would have to go into their countries and do the same thing that we would do here in America. So how could that be accurate if we're just taking the people that we caught only? How we would have to go and into their countries and be like, hey, what percent of you guys are coming to our countries? How many of you are doing it? How is that going to be inaccurate when we're just taking the ones that we caught?
Because we're taking the ones that we caught out of our country, and the discussion is like the individuals that are bringing DRUGS into our country. We're only going to be looking at those that are like literally bringing the DRUGS onto American soil.
No, we're only looking at the ones who got caught doing it.
I'm really confused, like where hiccup is here. Why would we
so
be
you
looking at individuals in other
like,
countries when we're specifically having a conversation about those that are bringing DRUGS into this country?
Yeah, and what they're coming from other countries. We're talking about immigration and illegal immigration.
They are
They're
coming from other countries, but why does this mean that we have to go to other countries in order to get the sample size?
So are the DRUGS.
Why does this mean that we have to go to other countries in order to get that sample size? Like, when we arrest somebody for DRUG trafficking, we're just taking a sample size of all DRUG traffickers into this country. Can you agree there?
No, because we're just taking the ones that were caught. So
You just disagreed that when we arrest somebody for DRUG trafficking into America, that we are not taking a sample of everyone DRUG trafficking into America. That is just wrong. That is wrong.
We're taking an example of everyone who has been caught.
You're not taking a sample of everybody that has been caught, because everybody that has caught is everybody that is caught. That's not a sample. That would be the demographic group. I'm just really confused on like where the hiccup is here in our conversation. I'm going to try to ask you one more time. I want you to listen very closely to my words. Are you ready?
Sure. I mean, I haven't been able to talk. You won't even let me talk. You let me get one sentence out, and then you go on the whole spill.
So yes or no?
You have control over the mute button.
So yes or no, Ethan? When we catch somebody that is bringing DRUGS into America, are we collecting a sample of somebody that is bringing DRUGS into America?
We're collecting a sample of someone who has been caught.
So can you give me a yes or no to my question?
I just said we are getting an example of someone who's been caught doing it.
I don't understand that sentence. I just want a yes or a no.
It's a yes, but based off people who got caught doing it.
So then you can agree that those in which we catch are a sample of the larger umbrella group, which would be everybody that is bringing DRUGS into this country, caught or not, right?
Based off people who are caught, yes.
Right. Okay, so you have now conceded that those that are caught are a sample size of everybody that is caught or not caught, right?
Yes, but again, to get accurate numbers, for us to know, but you're clapping like...
So now that you've conceded that there is sample size, well, now we just use statistics. When we run academic studies, what we do is we collect a sample size of a larger group of people. We see who that sample size is, because I'm describing statistics to you. Shut the hell up. Are you ready to get mathed?
No, I'm ready to be able to speak.
Or just be quiet.
For more than one sentence.
I need to finish my argument.
You literally just prove your point, and then I don't get to say anything.
I'm almost to proving my point. I'm not there quite yet because you keep cutting me off. This is a multi-pronged argument, my friend.
You keep cutting me off.
Are you? Can I just listen?
I listened to you.
Let's set the bullshit aside.
I listened to you.
I'm almost done.
I listened to you. I answered your question, and then you don't let me ask any other questions.
I know, because this is a premise by premise argument. I have to get you to agree to every premise of the argument, so we could draw the conclusion. Okay? Sometimes an argument isn't as easy as a single sentence, but you are treating everything that I'm saying individually as its own argument, where you then think that you get to interrupt and change the tune. But guess what? You actually don't get to stop me while I'm trying to construct a larger argument and change the tune midway through, because it's a multi-pronged, multi-premise argument with a conclusion. So far, I've gotten you to agree that yes, those that are caught for bringing DRUGS into America are a sample size of the larger group of everyone that brings DRUGS into America, regardless if they are caught or not caught. Now that we understand that fact, this is why I would say the best conclusion we can reasonably yield about what percentage of all DRUG traffickers that are bringing those things into this country that are citizens would be is 80%, because that's the amount of the individuals that are citizens that are caught, and those that are caught are a sample size of that larger group.
Okay, now can I talk?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm saying is those numbers are not accurate. Here's why. If you have a good criminal and a bad criminal, right? The bad criminal gets caught all the time because he's sloppy, he's bad at being a criminal. The good criminal can get away with it. Right or wrong. So just because the people who are caught, that just means these people are sloppy. There's how many other people doing it that don't get caught every single day, doing it right now, who aren't getting caught.
But the question would be, do we have any reason to believe that citizens would be more sloppy than undocumented immigrants?
Absolutely.
What would that reason be?
Undocumented immigrants are smarter. They've been doing this. They look at what percent of DRUGS they're bringing in here. 97% of Hero, 97%. That's a big number, wouldn't you agree? 91% of, I don't know the word for the CO.
So now you're saying that because 97% of the HDRUG that is brought into this country is brought across the southern border, that therefore it's brought across by undocumented immigrants, when we're having a conversation where I'm proving that 80% of the things that are brought across the southern border are brought across by citizens. I don't think that you could track an intellectual conversation, Ethan. I think I'm going to kick you. I think we have an idiot problem with the live right now, and that problem is you.
No, you're not understanding or trying to even be open-minded about what I'm saying.
Dude, Ethan, I don't think that you'll be able to like self-realize this point. I don't think you'll be able to self-realize this point, but the point that you won't be able to self-realize is that you just simply can't track this conversation.
I can't track it. Oh my God. I asked.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to like put like a burden on him to understand that, you know, it's kind of like, it's a lot to expect somebody to realize that they're the issue. So we're just going to move on to the next guest. Hop in that queue, view Sport Trump, and we'll get you pulled up onto the stream. If you want to support me, you could find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio on TikTok and in the pin message over in that YT stream. I appreciate you guys for the love, as well as just generally everyone that is here. While we're trying to find this next Trump supporter, let me know how your day's been so far down below in that chat. We're definitely getting a lot of crazy individuals. Today. What's up? Do you support Trump? Hello? Okay, they're not here. We're going to move on to the next guest right now. Go ahead and hop in that queue if you support Trump. Somebody in that chat says, I've been stunned. Yeah, bro. Unfortunately, I'm used to it. Like, dude, that last guest would have made me crash out so hard like a year ago. But I just like know how to handle it now, you know? Yo, Romy, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat. That is ROMI. They say, I admire your patience and energy, brother. Well, thank you, Romy. That is incredibly kind of you. That's probably pronounced Rami. Dude, it is a learned skill. It is 110% a learned skill. I do not have this naturally. And if you've been watching my lives for like the last 3 years, you fucking know that. As well as Gentry, that is Gentry. Thank you so much for the $20 on Super Chat. Gentry with a 20 says, I'm so glad that you are back. I've missed you and Parker. You two keep me sane in this insane world. Gentry, well, I'm happy that we could help you, my friend, and thank you for being here. I want everyone to show some love to Rami and Gentry down below in the chat, as well as Sray. Dude, Sray, you've been so kind. Thank you so much, Sray, for the $100 Super Chat over on YouTube. What the fuck? Let's get 1,000 Sray W's. Down below in that comment section right now, Sray, attach the message for all that you do. Sray, you have been hanging out with me and Parker for literally so long now. I love you to bits and pieces, and thank you so much for your continued support. Show some love to Sray down below. And what is going on, Danny? Do you support Trump? Danny's not even here. I was beginning to think that they were just an incredibly patient person. Turned out they weren't even here. We are going to move on to Jacob Hunting. Here we go, everybody. Let's go to get Jacob Hunting down below. Why did I just get an email from Trump? Just got an email from Trump. I signed up for his email list when he was like sending out batshit crazy emails. I thought I might make a video on it. And now I just get like an email from him begging for money every 30 minutes. What's up, Jacob? You support Trump? Okay, I'll take that as a yes. Why so? We're going to move on to the next guest right now. Let's go to see what the next guest has to say. Here we go. Be patient. We got that next guest connecting to the stream right now. We got Armand loading up into the stream right now. Yo, Angelique, thank you so much for the $15 donation over on Venmo. Angelique didn't leave a message, only the love. Thank you so much, Angelique. Show some love to Angelique down below. And then Ray Lee with a $15 as well, saying pop off to him. Thank you so much for the love. And then Avery, thank you so much for the $15 as well. Avery says, read off live. I about read that on live. I appreciate you for putting that at the start of your message. All the love to you, Avery. Thank you for the message as well, and thank you for the $15. As well as Franco, thank you so much for the $20 over on Venmo. Said, glad to see you're going strong. Well, appreciate you for being here, man. Let's get 200 Franco W's down below in that chat. As well as Reb with the $5 on Venmo saying, debate me, dare you? Bro, hop in that queue. Pipe down and hop in that queue. As well as the Goddess Shop with the $15 on Venmo saying, thanks for all that you do. Thank you, Goddess. That is very, very kind of you. Thank you guys so much for all the love. Show some love to our donors. While we're starting this next debate, what is going on? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'm 18.
And what year were you born in?
2007.
And why would you ever support such a terrible president such as Trump?
Because I saw this video that apparently Democrats and liberals like to.
Oh, the joke he was about to make. I know the joke he was about to make. Dude, somebody came up on the live yesterday and said that they support Trump because Democrats and liberals like to stick their finger in their booties. And then he like posted a video. He was like, earlier today, I joined Dean Witherstream to debate him. And I gave him an argument that he simply couldn't respond to. And then he played the clip of him being like, because I think Democrats and liberals like to put their fingers in their booties. And they got like 100K likes. It was a good video. It's funny. What's up? Do you support Trump? Okay, Tim's not here. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Here we go. Still looking for that next Trump supporter. If you are watching and you are a MAGA and you want to skip the line, go ahead and put a MAGA with your age or a Trump with your age down below in that comment section. As well as Vada, thank you so much for the $10 over on PayPal. And Adeline with the $10 on PayPal as well. Adeline, that is Adalyn, says, Dean, been watching you for almost a year now. Recently, I got my dad to start watching you. You've completely changed his views on Democrats and realized how blinded he was to Trump. Adeline, that puts a huge smile on my face. It is very rare that I hear about individuals trying to change their parents' mind and being successful. Just know that, like, that's awesome. That is very awesome. What is up? Do you support Trump?
I do.
How old are you, Derek?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm 35.
Perfect, my friend. Real quick, I want to thank 3 people, then I'll give the mic to you. Christine, thank you for the $10 on Venmo, who says, as a therapist who hates Trump, let's fucking go, Christine. Avery, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much, Avery, as well as Megan with the $5. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Christine, Avery, and Megan, and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Well, I mean, I give you a lot of reasons, but I kind of want to go to where you kind of left off with the other guy just a minute ago. I kind of see what he's saying. It is almost impossible to know certain numbers if you can't document that stuff. I see that stuff.
It's just not.
That aside,
the point of my argument is that it's
really
not
is.
impossible.
You cannot know what you don't know.
Well, we do know that statistics is a field of academic research in applied mathematics that is reliable. And we can use tools of statistical mathematics to conclude reasonably what those numbers would be. But I'm not going to have this conversation again.
If you know it, if you have those tools and you know the information,
I'm not going to have this
know
conversation again.
You can't do it.
Yeah,
but I'm just saying, I saw where dude was saying what he's saying. But I want to ask you, what other country just has open borders, just lets anybody in? Name one country that just lets anybody into their country.
Dean country.
Name another one.
Dean country.
Huh?
Dean country.
What?
When I'm older, I'm going to buy a ranch, no borders, free beer for everyone.
Okay, well that's you. I'm
over
asking
the age of
you,
21. Okay, I'm fucking with you.
On planet Earth, just has an open border and allows anybody in that they want. Name another one.
Okay, I'd assume that there's not one.
There's not one. So why should we?
Well, I don't think that we should have open borders.
You did though. You said that to that other guy.
No, I didn't.
You did.
Okay.
Okay. So now do you want to not have an open border? Okay, so I can get you on that. Okay, so you agree we should not have open borders, right?
Yeah, I agree that we shouldn't have open borders. Wait, real quick, is there anything that you could do to fix your mic? It's a little bit echoey.
No, you actually sound really low, actually. I was even just saying that a minute ago. For you to have a mic, you are very low.
Okay, pick up your phone if it's on a desk. Pick it up.
Hold on. Do what now?
Test.
Testing 1.
That's a little better. No, it's actually not terrible at all.
Hold on, I can connect to a headphone and see if it... Crap.
What are we doing? We'll give it a moment.
Can you hear me?
Yo, bruh.
Is that any better?
Yeah, what's going on? 1 second. Yo, Charlie, I appreciate you so much for the $20 super chat over on YouTube. Charlie says, Dean, you cannot escape the horrible past you have. Quote unquote, Dean W101. Imagine if your fan base found out who you really are if they searched that up on Reddit. I typed in Dean W101 to Reddit, and dude, and then I went to comments. Anyone could go do this too. It is like some like crazy conspiracy theorist that was spamming on Reddit like 4 years ago, saying crazy shit. God. Okay, that's not my account. I promise I was not a young 15-year-old spamming crazy shit on Reddit under this screen name Dean W101. Go ahead.
Are you giving it back to me?
I'm sorry, man. I just don't think that your mic is good enough. Maybe it was good enough for like a lot of people watching. However, it just was not good enough for me. Okay. Also, yeah, user Dean W101 created their account in 2013. I would have been 7. I would have been 7 spamming crazy conspiracy theories over on Reddit. Not me. We're going to move on to the next guest right now. Let's go to get that next guest. Hunter loaded up into the stream right now, y'all. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Hello, do you hear me?
I sure do.
Yeah, I do. You hear me?
I do.
All
Are you
right,
mad?
yeah. Yeah, I am mad guy. Support Trump.
Okay, is there anything that you could do to unmuffle your mic a little bit?
Let me take off my headphones.
Okay. Yeah, if you take the... I would have been 9. I wouldn't have been 7. Fail. I would have been 9. But by the way, Charlie, I appreciate you for the $20. Very kind.
Is it better now? Do you hear me a lot better?
Do you still have the mic connected?
Yeah, do you hear me a lot better now?
If you disconnect the mic, I will be able to hear you significantly better. Like if you just completely disconnect it.
Like, what do you mean completely disconnect?
If you just completely disconnect the mic.
Oh, from my headphones?
Yes. Okay, while the guest is working on that, B, thank you so much for the $10 on Super Chat. B says, did y'all see the Steve Burns podcast premiere earlier? I love watching it, and I can't wait for more episodes. No, I didn't. I'll have to check it out. We're going to move on to the next guest.
All right, what about now? Do you hear me better now?
Just replug the mic. Well, I didn't think it'd be that bad. It was like kind of okay before. Just plug the headphones back in and tell us why you support Trump.
What about now? Is
Yeah,
it fine
it's fine.
now?
Take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Because I think that illegal immigration is actually a fiscal downside to America. I know you mentioned that they bring in more federal revenue, but when you look at the state and local level, they are a fiscal burden. And then if you grant them amnesty, most of them don't have high school education. I think, according to the House committee, only 43% don't even have a high school diploma. And most high schools in South America don't reach the American standard when it comes to employment and when it comes to universities.
We've already debated
and
before,
high schools
right?
No, we haven't debated before.
I swear to God, I swear to God, I debated you like 4 or 5 days ago.
I haven't been on here since like March. I took a long break, but I haven't debated you. I've debated your colleagues like Pickles and a few others, but I haven't debated you. Anyways,
I think I have. I'll allow you to continue though.
High school dropouts in America, people who do not have high school education, are a fiscal burden on the U.S. economy. So how, if we grant people amnesty, and most of them do not have a high school education, how will these people not become a fiscal burden and take away services? For example, I live in New York City. New York City had to cut about 5% of their services like healthcare and other services like Medicare and healthcare because of illegal immigration. We had to cut about 5% of our services.
Okay, so overall, your argument here is that you support Trump because you think that we should like reduce the amount that our government spends on social safety nets, and you think that undocumented immigrants are a fiscal burden, and if we were to deport them all, like we'd like reduce like our fiscal drain.
I think that they're a fiscal burden, and granting them amnesty would take away native-born Americans' access to these social services.
Okay, so you don't like the idea of like reducing Americans' access to social safety nets in this country?
I don't. I mean, we have to with the deficit, but I don't like the idea of extending the deficit when it comes.
Well,
to
yeah, because I mean, I'm just going to bring up like the most apparent contradiction in your view here, because ultimately, if your
I
argument,
know you're going to bring up the big beautiful. bill,
right. Like,
the big
think about it. If
bill.
you'd allow me to finish here, like ultimately, your argument amounts to this idea that you think that undocumented immigrants would take away like access to social safety nets away from Americans, but in the same breath, you support a president that reduced the access to Medicaid from 10 million American citizens. Isn't that a little bit hypocritical?
No, because with the big beautiful bill, I also get a tax cut. It's not contributing to the deficit. You got to give and take. In Obama's 2008 Affordable Care Plan, he got rid of premium payments. You have to get rid of some health care because the biggest governmental service that people use are entitlements. If you want to actually make a dent on the deficit and you want to give tax cuts, you are going to have to cut these entitlements. And also, we have tariff revenue coming in too.
So
which is about $27 billion a month.
So you're basically
according to.
So you're just essentially telling us that it is the case that you're okay with kicking 10 million low-income Americans off of Medicaid because like the top 51% of income earners got a tax cut?
According to the IRS, the Tax and Jobs Act benefited the middle class the most. So if middle class,
yeah, but we're not talking about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. We're going to be talking about
what's the biggest thing. What's the biggest thing in the big beautiful bill? It's the Tax and Jobs Act.
If you'd allow me to finish, we're not talking about the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. We're talking about the big beautiful bill. And when we look at studies done on the big beautiful bill, such as the one done by the CBPP, the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, it tells us that the effective purchasing power goes down for Americans making on average $47,000 per year or less.
That's just false. That's an estimate, and that's just plainly false.
Right. Well, of course, we're going to be talking about estimates here when we're discussing like the efficacy of like broad-reaching economic policy. If you want to reject estimates because of broad-reaching economic policy, well, then you'd have to reject the last thing you literally just said, which was an estimate about the impact of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act on the average American family.
What did that same study say about the Tax and Jobs Act?
Can you please respond to what I just said?
The same study said that the Tax and Jobs Act would be a burden or it wouldn't be good for the middle class. That same estimate said it wouldn't be good for the middle class, and in fact, according to IRS data, it was good for the middle class.
So the CBPP did a study did a study on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act like 8 years ago, and they estimated that'd be bad for the average American. Can you please show me that?
I don't have it up right now, but you can go search it up yourself.
Well, it kind of sounds trust me, bro. I think that you're going to have to be able to give like the title of the study. It was published by. Of course, it was on the CBPP's website, so it should be pretty easy.
Yeah, I'll go look it up right now. And mind you, you still haven't been able to discontinue my claim that if we give amnesty to illegal immigrants, they are going to be a fiscal burden. Do you think that we should give amnesty to people who are going to be a fiscal burden?
Do you think that you're pivoting away from the fact that you just claimed that the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities did a study on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act? Why are you interrupting me? Why are you interrupting me?
I'll search it up right now, but you didn't address my original claim.
I did address your original claim by pointing out your own hypocrisy in the fact that you're claiming that you think that this would be bad as it would reduce Americans' access to essential social safety nets, and how this is hypocritical in relation. Why are you interrupting me again?
Because it will lower their wages,
dude.
And if we're going to cut services,
can you stop interrupting me? I hate the debate tactic where you just interrupt every sentence I say. Can you just wait for me to finish?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So point number one, you pivoted and deflected away from giving the study from the CBPP to indicate that back in 2018 or whatever, they did a study that concluded that it is the case that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was estimated to be bad for the average American. Now, point number two, it is worth bringing up the fact that you told me I didn't challenge or contest your original claim, which I did by demonstrating your own hypocrisy, because the conclusion of your original claim was the fact that you don't like that citizens are going to be squeezed out of access to social safety nets. And now the way that I'm responding to this is by demonstrating your hypocrisy, because that's exactly what Trump is doing, yet you support him as president. And some fucking how we've gotten down to the point where you are saying that this CBPP organizations that I gave you is not something that you're willing to give any credence to because they did a study on the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which you believe was flawed.
Yeah, here it is. The CBO.
Not the CBO, the CBPP.
So they're both governmental. They're both okay. You won't count the CBO. All right.
The reason I'm not going to count the CBO is because I specifically gave you a study from the CBPP.
But I agree with these cuts. I think that we are going to have to cut entitlements for tax cuts.
Can you admit that you were wrong on that point? Can you admit that you were wrong on the
what?
point when you told us that the CBPP indicated that, like, what did I say? Can you admit that you were wrong on the fact that the CBPP indicated that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act would have been bad for the
I mixed up the CBO and I mixed up the CBBB. Okay, I apologize.
Okay, so then my claim would be valid and sound. Once again, you're telling us that you support reducing the access to the essential social service of literally going to the hospital, Medicaid, for 10 million low-income Americans. So the top 49% of income earners in this country could save more in taxes at the end of the year, per study done by the CBPP.
Everyone's getting a tax cut. And the biggest thing of the big beautiful bill is it's codifying the Tax and Jobs Act. Yes, they're making cuts on Medicare, and yes, they're making cuts on SNAP benefits. That's where it is. It's an effective tax rate. It's not that they're adding taxes to the middle class. They're saying because we're cutting these SNAP benefits and because we're cutting these Medicare, the effective tax rate added onto them will hurt the middle class. But I don't think it will hurt the middle class because the middle class is going to get about $2,000 more in purchasing power because that's what the Tax and Jobs Act gave to the average middle class.
Yeah, that's not what the CBPP says about the big beautiful bill.
Wait, what did you say?
That's not what the study done by the CBP tells us about the big beautiful bill. Do you have a competing study done by another source that indicate otherwise?
The biggest thing in the big beautiful bill is the Tax and Jobs Act. Do you know that?
All right. So are you not going to respond to my question?
Do I have another source that says I can give you IRS data right now that the Tax and Jobs Act gave about an average middle-class American $2,000 more in purchasing
What do you think
power?
I'm asking you for a study for? I'm not asking you for a study to demonstrate that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act passed in 2018 was good for the average American by giving them money back at the end of the year. I'm asking for you to demonstrate a source that would inform me and everybody else watching the stream that the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities was wrong and incorrect when they released a study demonstrating that the big beautiful bill will reduce the average purchasing power of everybody of the average American making at or under $51,000 per year. I'm being very clear with my question. Don't obfuscate my question.
No. And I don't know. I don't think that cutting 3 million people off SNAP benefits, and can you give me that source, the CBB? It states that...
No, oh my God. Oh, dude, respond to my question. Last chance.
So the middle class will get less purchasing power due to the big beautiful bill. Is that your statement?
Yeah. My statement, once again, for the fifth time, is that the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities tells us that because the big beautiful bill is passed and signed into law, the average American making at or under $51,000 per year will have less purchasing power.
How much more are they going to be paying in effective tax rates?
How much more are they going to be paying in effective taxes?
Yeah, because that's what the estimate is expected. How much more?
Like how much is their purchasing power going down? I think for like income earners between like $35,000 per year and $51,000 per year, it is like 0.9%, and then lower than that it gets worse at like 1.5%. Once again, I'm just like relaying the data to you that is suggested done by the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities.
Hold up. If the average middle-class American gets about $2,000 more due to income tax, how would 1% of 51,000, which isn't more than 2,000, how would they have less effect? How would they have less purchasing
Oh, that's going to be
power?
the net loss.
How? Explain.
That's going to be the net loss. That's going to be accounting for the cuts in the bill to the taxes.
There's no tax increases, though. Are you talking about net loss when it comes to...
Dude, I didn't say tax increase. I said purchasing power.
How would they have less purchasing power if they're going to have to spend about 1% of their paycheck, of their annual salary, which is about $51,000?
No, the study, dude, for the last time, and it's going to be the last time I say this, right? It makes their purchasing power go down by roughly 1%.
Oh, in general. So even if that's including the $2,000 in purchasing power that they
the total net impact of the bill is going to reduce the purchasing power overall by around 1% for income earners making between around $35,000 per year and $50,000 per year.
But that's not the middle class, though. That's around the
what do you think the
lower
middle class is?
The average salary in America is about $70,000 to $80,000.
I think that the average income for the average American is actually $47,000.
We can go search it up. Go search it up on Google. The first result is 70,000.
You're saying that the average American makes $70,000 per year?
Annually, yes.
Income of an American. No, it's actually lower than what we both said. The median income for an American in 2023 was $40,000. You're looking at the household number.
It's about 63,000 households. No, it's about 60. No, you lied. The national average salary is about 63,000.
Dude,
we were both wrong, but it's closer to my number than your number.
I'm gonna go ahead and show this to you.
Average U.S. salary by state. I'll give you a source. Give me a source. The national average salary is about $63,000.
And saved. Boom.
That's not a source, though. That's Google. Give me an actual source.
The source would be the United States Census Bureau. Like I cut it off like right before it, but like right under the cutoff at the bottom. It says source United States Census
Can you
Bureau.
not cut it off then?
Bro, no, just go to Google and type in average income of an American. This graph will pop up and it will say source United States Census Bureau.
Average income of an American. Okay. But overall, we're going to have to cut these programs, though. Because entitlements are the biggest benefit of these federal programs. And you're laughing, but it's like, okay, if we're going to have to cut entitlements, Democrat or Republican, that's the only way we're going to get rid of the deficit. Why are we going to get
One second, I actually need to respond to somebody, to the people in the chat. So for everybody spamming 2023, well, it is 2025. So the United States Census Bureau is incredibly like slow, lagged, and delayed in their reporting. But what I will say here is that if you look at the trend of average incomes and you track it year by year, like for instance, in 2021, it was $34,000 per individual. In 2022, it was $37,000 per individual. And in 2023, it was $39,000 per individual. It'd be realistic to assume that because we see annual increases of around $1,500, that today it is sitting at or around $43,000.
But overall, listen to me. If we're going to have to cut entitlements, that's the biggest federal expenditure. We're Democrat or Republican, we're going to have to cut entitlements.
Well, I don't think that we should cut 10 million people off of Medicaid. And a way that we wouldn't have to cut entitlements is by dropping a bill that costs $4.5 trillion. But especially a bill that disproportionately helps you. The more money you make, and according, once again, to the study done by the Center of Budget and Policy Priorities, ultimately hurts you if you make at or beneath a dollar amount, which is above that of the average American.
First of all, the cuts that we're making is eligibility. You have to be 18 or older. You have to work about 20 to 30 hours a month? Or no, 40 hours a month if you are eligible and you're not disabled.
It's 80.
What?
It's 80.
It's 80. That's nothing. 80 hours a month. You have to work if you are eligible and you're above the age of 19. I think that's actually a fair program, especially if we're going to have to cut entitlements in general.
I think that work requirement on Medicaid is bad.
Well, we don't live in a fairyland. We don't live in a fantasy land. We're going to have to cut these things. You know that, right?
So you just concede in one breath that sure, Dean, maybe it's unfair, but I don't care?
Yeah, that's the real world, Dean. We have to cut these entitlements. That's the biggest thing the federal government spends money on.
Think about what you're saying right now. So, like, once again, you are now defending doing something that is unfair and harmful to 10 million low-income Americans. So we could
bringing in 14 million people who are going to lower the wages is.
This is going to be the last time I repeat this. If you don't like directly respond to it, I'm going to kick you. This is fucking boring because you cannot respond to a claim straight on. So once again, I just want to understand your perspective. Your perspective is that let's like fuck over and kill a bunch of low-income Americans by taking healthcare away from 10 million of them unfairly, just so we could give a larger tax cut to Americans that make a dollar amount above the median income for the average American. And in fact, those that make at the median income or below it, we're going to hurt you too. No, I don't think it's something. I don't think that we should take money and kill the poor just to give more to the rich. Kind of have
one of the most progressive
moral obligation against that.
Ever. The top 5% pay about 54% of all federal services. We have one of the most progressive tax systems in the world.
Yeah, and the top 1% earners own 85% of the wealth.
Why? What would you say?
For the baby dragon. And the top 1% of income earners own 85% of the wealth. So, of course, the top 5% of income earners is going to pay 55% of all income taxes. Makes sense.
Why did anyone
now
have the wealth?
ultimately, like, you're still not responding directly to my claim. I just want to be clear. Are you saying inevitably it is a good thing to be fucking over poor Americans to help rich Americans?
Will we have to do that? Yes. And I think it is a good thing that Trump's doing that.
Okay, goodbye. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Woo! I mean, yeah, got him to like concede to like the most craziest thing ever. God, what the fuck is going on, dude? Is this like a joke? Like, I can't believe that people are like this far brain rotted. Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next guest. Hop of that queue, view Sport Trump. We're probably gonna do debates for around another 30 minutes. And if you want to support me, you could support me over on Venmo or PayPal, as well as like Charlie, I think his name was. Yo, I appreciate you for like another $15 over on YouTube. There is somebody that is just like spamming me with money to be hateful. As well as Sray, thank you so much for the $100 super chat over on YouTube super chat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sray, with another one. Wait, actually, Sray, I do thank you. I'm just now realizing
Fuck me, Dean. Fuck me.
Get the hell out of here. I'm just now realizing that I already thanked you and that came in a while ago. I just refreshed my YouTube and it put it at the top. But I guess more W's to you, Sray, for the $100 donation a little bit ago. Thank you so much. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the stream. But who I do have to thank, Rami. Thank you so much for the $100 super chat over on YouTube. Rami, that is so fucking kind of you. Let's get 1,000 Rami W's down below in the chat. Thank you so much for your kindness. Rami with $100 says, thank you for all the info and encouragement to get us involved in politics. Dean, you and Parker making a real difference by speaking up in these dangerous times. Voices like yours are what truly will make America great. Rami, I seriously really appreciate you, not just for the love of the $100, but also for such a kind message. Thank you. As well as someone with the $10 super chat saying, and I quote, some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Yeah, and then they want to turn around and say that the Democrats are like the evil, hateful ones. That's crazy. As well as Kayla with the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And then, yeah, Charlie with the $10, spewing the hate, saying, quote unquote, the lefties are one of the most vile humans, from Dean Withers, aka Dean W101. The truth is coming out. Sadly, these people haven't seen the exposed doc yet. Charlie, I hate to tell you, but that's like actually not my Reddit account. I have like a pretty good track record of taking accountability for bad things I did when I was younger. I'll be honest with you, that's not one of them. As well as, let's see here. Welcome in, new guest. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, kind of. But mainly I just wanted to touch on a few points that I heard earlier that were being talked about.
How old are you?
I'm 24.
And when you say you kind of support Trump, like overall, do you support Trump as president?
I mean, yeah, I think I support some of the stuff. Obviously, I don't agree with everything. I don't agree with everything that anybody does ever, pretty much. But I think that's pretty human nature. Anyways, I just want to touch on the fact that you said earlier that like $100 billion in tax revenue from illegal immigrants. And I guess I don't have numbers and stats to look at and back up my claims, but I do have a lot of personal experience working with undocumented people. Being that I do own a construction company, it's fairly common to have to work with undocumented immigrants.
Yeah, it is. The American Immigration Council tells us that 1 out of every 7 construction workers is an undocumented immigrant.
Right. So, and anyways, I just know a lot of these people, and they tell me this very clearly, that like they don't want to be in America. They want to be here to make money. So they're here to work, and they aren't paying taxes. They tell me that. They openly tell me that. So technically, if I pay these people cash, I am paying their taxes in my business profit, which a business profit tax rate is a lot lower than an individual's tax rate. You should know that, being that you also own a business.
What the hell are you saying, dude? You're saying that a lot of them don't pay taxes?
Business profit tax rate is around 15%. An individual's tax rate is around 30%. So if your claim is that
So the corporate tax rate is 15. The effective tax rate for the average American is around 33. Okay.
Yep. So my corporation is paying a lot less in taxes than an individual would be.
Yeah. You're right.
Right. So if I was payrolling them, they would be paying more in taxes. So that $100 billion automatically would be $200 billion.
So if a corporation paying an employee, the employee pays more in taxes than the corporation does in corporate taxes. Yeah?
But it's less. It's a lot less percentage. I think
I said that backwards. Yeah, so so a corporation will pay a lower corporate tax rate than said corporation's employees will pay in an effective tax rate. Yeah, and
can you repeat that? Sorry.
A corporation will pay a lower tax rate in corporate tax than an employee of a corporation will pay in effective tax. Yeah.
Right. So if my corporation is showing $100,000 profit, I'm only paying 15% of that. That's $15,000. If an individual shows $100,000 in income, they're paying 30+% in that.
Right.
So
far, so good.
For the IRS.
So far,
if they were documented. If they were documented, but the fact that they aren't documented, it's actually hurting.
Have you ever seen like a movie or like a TV show even where like somebody is like up for like a week at a time and they're getting no sleep and they're like slamming coffees and they're like locked in an office room and they're like working on something in this office room and they got all like the pictures on the board with the string connecting it and all like the pictures and the notes, etc. And then like and then like in the movie or the TV show, somebody like bursts into this room and, you know, looks at this guy that hasn't like shaved in a week. He's all tired, drinking his coffees, and there's trash everywhere. And there's just like board with a bunch of random shit on it. I feel like you're that guy right now, you know?
I think it's hilarious how you talk to everybody like they're just stupider and dumber.
No, I'm actually not calling you stupid. I'm just saying, like, I don't see the point of the information that you're sharing with us. Let me be clear. I do understand that the effective tax rate for the average American working as a W-2 employee is higher than what corporations will pay in corporate tax on their profits. Okay, what is the point, and how does this relate to our debate? And
the point is that $100 billion would be $200 billion for the IRS if they were documented immigrants.
What? No, where are you getting that one from? Where's that coming from? What? Dude, whoa, you just threw like a huge like new factor into the mix that has no relationship whatsoever with the last two things that we're talking about. What the fuck? What is going on?
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking at all. Like I genuinely have no clue what you're saying. I think that you're going down a rabbit hole here.
No, it's a very simple correlation that if these documented immigrant, like if they were paying their own taxes on that $100,000, it's more money for the IRS.
Oh, so undocumented immigrants do pay taxes.
The corporations paying them pay the taxes for them.
Not through the corporate tax rate. No. When I say that undocumented immigrants pay $100 billion per year in taxes, I'm not talking about like the additional profits that the corporations would pay a corporate tax rate for. I'm literally talking about their direct contributions, either working as a W-2 employee or like paying sales tax.
So sales tax, yes, I do see where the $100 billion would come from.
Yeah, I'm talking about the direct contributions of undocumented immigrants.
I am going off of. So if they were documented, we would still get that sales tax either way. But anyways, I am saying personal experience. I know that these people aren't paying taxes. They are openly telling me that.
Okay. Well, guess what? Yeah, your personal experiences don't change the fact that the IRS tells us that undocumented immigrants directly pay $100 billion per year in taxes. In fact, nothing will change that fact.
Why don't you get some personal experience and go and talk to these people and figure out if they're paying taxes?
Dude,
and then you can make it.
Come on, this is like so stupid. Like, this is literally the equivalent of NASA telling us the Earth is round, but you choosing to believe the Earth is flat because your neighbor said so. It is the equivalent. That is an equivalent scenario. You're saying you've personally met like a handful of undocumented immigrants that don't pay taxes. Therefore, when the IRS tells us that undocumented immigrants pay a total of $100 billion in taxes per year, that the IRS is wrong.
No, I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying it could be more.
It could be more. Actually, yes, it could. There is a bunch of undocumented immigrants that work under the table because when you're an undocumented immigrant and you pay taxes, you can't claim a tax return or claim many benefits in many states or any federal benefits in any state. Obviously, these things are going to incentivize undocumented immigrants to work under the table at higher levels comparatively to citizens. The solution to this is to, well, make them citizens?
I agree.
Mass amnesty.
Not disagreeing with that. I am not disagreeing with you there. All right.
Okay, well then you disagree with the Trump administration handling of immigration policy.
To a certain point, to a certain extent.
Not to a certain extent, like mass amnesty, giving undocumented immigrants a pathway to residency.
I don't really think
it's diametrically opposed to that of mass deportation.
I also don't really think that there is mass deportation happening. Like if you look at the numbers, and I guess, like I said, I don't have any numbers and facts and stats in front of me. It's really not that massive.
So you're saying that Donald Trump is failing at his goal?
I think he's getting the violent ones out that he...
His goal is to remove every single undocumented immigrant in the country. This was explicitly stated before the election and after the election.
I know, and that's what I don't agree with, exactly.
So you're saying that Donald Trump is failing to achieve his goal?
Sure.
Okay, all right.
A lot of people fail at their goals, right?
So you support Trump as president because he's a failure?
Well, that's not why I support him, because of his immigration policies.
So why do you support him?
Well, I can ask you the same question. Why do you still support the left after seeing all the crazy shit that happens?
I think that, like, I'm actually not going to entertain another deflection. Like, we talked about immigration policy there for a little bit. There wasn't a conversation about like why you supported Trump as president. I gave you that leeway. I had that conversation with you for like literally 20 minutes. And I think that'd be a sign of good faith for you to now like answer my questions in return and entertain where I want to direct the conversation the same way I entertained where you wanted to direct the conversation. And you could entertain me by telling me why you support Trump as president.
Well, going off what the last guy said, the tax cuts and stuff, but I don't need to get into that same argument.
Okay, if you don't want to get into that same argument, then why do you support Trump as president?
No, I just don't want to get...
You don't want to get into why you still support Trump?
I don't want to have the same conversation that you already have had.
Okay, well then feel free to bring up another point. How do you still support Trump as president?
Well, why can't we get off of... Isn't it fair to ask the similar question to you as well about...
No, it's actually not, because I want you to answer the question on top of my head. You've been up here for 20 minutes without answering this question. I will not allow you to remain in my stream for 21 minutes without answering this question. It is either the fact that you will answer the question on the top of my head, or I will move on to the next guest.
Okay, so do I support Trump as a president? Yes. Why? Because of him trying to get rid of violent criminals.
Fred, thank you so much for the leopard. I really appreciate you so much for the love. Thank you so much, Fred. Show some love to Fred down below in that comment section for the god diddly damn leopard. Holy shit. As well as just really quickly. I'm so sorry.
I like his open and honesty and how he speaks his mind, and he doesn't really seem to care about what other people are going to think or take or how they take that, which I think is fairly important when you're in any sort of power, because if you just openly speak your mind, you kind of know what you're getting, right?
Okay. Thank you so much for your commentary there. Real quick before I respond to that, Annie, thank you so much for the $50 donation over on Super Chat. Show some love to Annie down below in that comment section. Let's get 500 Annie W's. Annie, it's so good to see you again. Annie says the corporate tax rate is a flat 21% since the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Thought this guy was a business owner. I think that the big beautiful bill might have dropped it more, but I'm not so sure on that one. I should do my research. As well as Karen, thank you so much for the $25 over on PayPal. Saying, keep doing you, boo. Thank you so much for the love. Show some love to Annie and Karen, as well as Audrey with the $17 over on PayPal. Didn't leave a message, only love. Thank you, Audrey, Karen, and Annie. And then Sommer, Sommer with the $15, saying, hey, Dean, I'm Faith on YouTube Super Chat. I had to have an abortion because my baby died in utero. I had to take cryotech and have a DNC, which led to complications and left my uterus scarred to the point that they don't believe I'll ever be able to carry again. I'm really sorry. Holy shit. I'm so sorry. Damn, Faith. Faith also says, although I originally intended to keep that private, I don't care. Thank you for fighting for my right to not get sepsis and die. Every so often I wonder what could have happened if I had left the necrosis inside of me. I'm grateful to be here today because of this medical and legal experience, and I hope nobody else has to suffer. Sommer, that is literally like one of like the worst experiences I think an individual can go through. I'm so sorry that happened to you. And that is just one other reason why having good effective policy on women's access to healthcare in America right now is so important. I've been pressing this since before the election, and I will continue to press it today. Women's access to abortion is more important than any of you guys think. Okay? It is like one of like my main priorities of things that I think need to be immediately addressed in this country. And a lot of people like obviously treat it as a priority because it is, and I think that we on the left have our political priorities, and that's one of them. But I think that it should be one with a higher level of priority. Like, I think that like women's access to healthcare should be something that is talked about significantly more by more people, and is something that we're always pressing the government for or against. Like, dude, 66 million American women and girls do not have access to abortion in America today. And that is so ethically terrible. So ethically terrible. Yeah. Mary, thank you for the galaxy. So go ahead and take it away. I think that where we left off, Big, thank you for the galaxy. We left off and you were telling us, Bree in the chat says you don't fight for it. Bree, go watch my video with 44 million views announcing that Trump won the election. The first thing I bring up is the fact that women are now going to not have access to abortion. It is something that I've been pressing since the election so heavily. Anyways, back to you. You told us that you think that Donald Trump is honest. 63 handpicked courts he tried to go to prove he didn't lose the election told him that he lost the election.
Gotcha. Learn something new every day. I guess I also agree with.
Wait, I'm going to pause you there. I'm going to debate myself here real quick. I actually might be wrong. That may not technically be a lie, because a lie would be willfully spreading misinformation, and me just demonstrating that it's absolutely absurd and insane to believe that this is true because of all the reason we have to believe that it's false is not accurate. Because think about flat earthers. There's just as much evidence to demonstrate that the earth is round as there's evidence to demonstrate that Biden had won the 2020 election. But would I say that if somebody is truly convinced that the earth is flat, that they'd be lying when they said that the earth was flat? No, because they genuinely believe it. So then that question would go down to, is this something that Donald Trump genuinely believes? And I think this would be a conversation where we'd have to prove some type of mental state. I debated myself there, but I just thought I'd add those thoughts on. Go ahead and continue.
I appreciate that. That was very mature of you. I'm going to be honest. So the abortion thing, I guess I don't personally agree with abortion, but at the same time, I do think that certain cases, rape, incest, whatever, obviously need abortion. So I agree with him there.
Okay, so why do you think elective abortion should be banned?
What's that?
Why do you think that elective abortion should be banned?
It's the same reason I don't want to see kids shot in schools and stuff. Every life is precious, and that's a
wait. That's actually a good question. So the reasons why I would say I don't want to see a kid shot in school is because that child has their own unique and innocent perceptions of the world around them. They're just beginning to like. Does a fetus have their own unique and innocent perceptions of the world around them? No, because they're not conscious until 20 through 24 weeks. So therefore, if we want to say that it would be wrong or not wrong for the same reasons we think it is wrong to shoot a child, like to watch a child die in school, we'd actually imply that therefore abortion is not wrong prior to 20 weeks.
Sure. I have no argument for you there. Okay.
Holy shit. Boom. Okay. Well, guess what? That's Roe v. Wade.
I don't know. I don't know.
Roe v. Wade protected women and girls' access to elective abortions up until the point of viability at around 21 weeks, and then protected women's access to abortion in all scenarios even after that. So you just justified support for the view of the left and policy that Kamala Harris ran on, and something that Donald Trump got effectively overturned.
Gotcha. Hey, I've never been one to say that I'm always right. Anyways, there was another thing I was thinking of, but sometimes these thoughts escape my mind. I guess, can we follow up now with why do you still see yourself as more left-leaning, even seeing after anything that's happened recently? And we can say, oh, guns kill people, whatever. Like, is it not more of a mental health problem of killing people?
If you want to ask me the question, why do I see myself as like left-leaning after Charlie Kirk's assassination? Why do you see yourself as right-leaning after Melissa Hortman's murder? You know, like, why do you see yourself as right-leaning, even though like data that is reported by our government demonstrates that extremist violence on the right is significantly more like statistically prevalent than that of extremist violence on the left. But honestly, like I said, once again, I want to talk about reasons why you support Trump as president. Chats, they're on their way out for the day. Thank you so much for spending a couple hours with us, which is crazy, by the way. I hope you enjoyed the stream while you were here. Cloud says, if you are now anti-fascist, you are terrorists, and if you engage in free speech, you will get punished. Like Jimmy Kimmel, right before I started the stream. That is just a crazy, crazy thing. If you want my thoughts on that, you should go watch my most recent video. That was fucking insane. As well as Adila, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. Adila says, I love your content. I would like to get into one of your debates because I am Democratic, but have certain political views where I differ with you. Yeah, which ones? As well as Evelyn, thank you for the $10, saying, can't wait to be back tomorrow. Thank you for educating and everything that you do. Thank you. Thank you so much, Evelyn. Show some love to Evelyn down below in that chat. And then Natalie, thank you for the $15 with love. Thank you so much, Natalie. And then Emma with the $35 over on Venmo, nearly 30 minutes ago now, saying, hi, Dean, your lives are one of the best parts of my day, and my boyfriend's mom and I love listening to you together. She's watching right now. If you could please say hi to her, that'd be incredibly based. She's a huge fan. Thank you for everything that you do, and glad that you're back. Hello, Emma's mom. I hope that you're doing well. And Emma, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for the $35 donation. Show some love to Emma and Emma's mom. I hope that you guys are still in here. As well as 32 minutes ago, I appreciate you for the $20. Addison and Angelique with the 10. Thank you guys so much for the love. And Miss Libby, it's so good to see you again. Thank you for the $50 fucking donation on Venmo. Thank you so much, Libby. That is incredibly, incredibly kind of you. Libby says, you need more pacifiers than I expected. We've had a lot of big babies today. That is very true. But Libby, it is so good to see you once again. And thank you so much for your kindness. Thank you. Thank you. As well as if there's anybody in there that I missed over on Venmo, I do apologize. I swear to God, I try to see everybody, but every so often there is someone that I miss, and I apologize if that happened to be you. As well as Mary, thank you for the $15 over on PayPal. Thank you, Mary. Emily with a 5 saying thank you for educating these people. I love what I do. And then Summer with another $5 over on PayPal. Thank you so much. And Hannah with a 3 saying, will you ever run for president? Love these lives. Hannah, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Politics, like already as is, can be very stressful. I don't know if I could like deal with this stress of like literally being president. I don't know if that's like for me. I don't know if I'm built for that. I think in order to be president, like not only do you have to like be like educated on politics and have like good ideas and be like good at speaking, but you also just have to have like it's already 9:19 out here in Colorado, so I'm probably going to be hopping off here pretty soon and winding down for the night. Let's go to get that next guest, Austin, up in the box right now. Or at least I did. What's going on?
I still cannot hear you.
What?
Oh, hold on. Nope, I can hear you now. Sorry.
Okay.
For some reason, I'm all the way down.
Hey, what's going on?
So
Do you support Trump?
And that was my question.
How about one? Okay, we'll drop that. Let's just restart. Why do you support Trump? Talon, your biceps are small. I was really hoping that'd wake you up. I was really hoping that would get you to say something. I was really hoping that would get you to say something. Oh, dude, my biceps are small. Like, you don't even wanna... Talon? Pookie? This isn't you. Come back. Okay. He's just gone. I'm gonna go ahead and kick him. Oh, God. What happened there? Who knows? Hey, Jeebus, I appreciate you for another $20 over on Super Chat. Saying Melissa Hortman lives forever. Stop political violence. Liberty and justice for all. Yeah, man. The story about what happened to her and her family is like fucking sad, dude. God, it makes me very unwell. It makes me very unwell. I hate that shit so much. Okay, everyone. I know I said that would be the last guest, and honestly, it looks like I should probably get off here. It's 9:30. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Before I do, I want to make sure that I thank everyone else that has donated before I end. Such as Sophia. Thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Saying, I love you, Dean, and I support you so much. Hey, thank you so much for the love, Sophia. And I'm happy that you're here, and I'm happy that you're enjoying the streams. As well as Renee, thank you for the $2 on Venmo, and Joshua with the 10. Joshua, you'll have to ping me on your earlier message. As well as M, thank you so much for the $15 over on Venmo. Saying, I want to say I appreciate you. And I learn from you every day. That's awesome, Em. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, Em. Thank you so much for the $15. And Marlena with a 5 and Lola with a 2. Marlena says, have you been following what Candace Owens has been saying loosely? I've seen like a couple clips here and there. I hear like apparently like a lot of people on the left are like starting to like her, gravitate towards her, agree with her. I'm a little bit out of the loop, I'll be honest. You guys are saying one more. Okay. Okay, let's do one more. Let's get June up here. Hey, what's up, June? You support Trump?
Oh my gosh, hello. No, I'm so sorry. I don't. I just wanted to say.
No worries at all, June. You have a good rest of your day. Hey, what's up? You support Trump? Nope, they left pretty quick. Moving on to the next guest. Only up in that queue if you happen to support Trump as Prez. Look for people that support the big T as Prez, y'all. Let's try to get that next guest up in here. Only up in that queue if you happen to be MAGA. We're going to go get Megan loaded up. What's up, Megan? You MAGA?
What's up? I mean, I voted for Trump every single time that he ran, so I guess.
Megan, no. Why would you ever do such a terrible thing?
Well, if it came between Kamala and Trump, I'm going to choose Trump for sure. Kamala, sorry if I mispronounced that.
And why the hell would you do that?
Kamala is too infiltrated with AIPAC. She's too big of an Israel supporter for me.
She's been
but
paid.
I know you're laughing because
no,
Trump. Okay,
listen. I don't fuck with Israel. Okay, we agree.
Okay, so we agree on that.
Yeah, she's been paid like $4 million by AIPAC. Donald Trump has been paid $150.
But I get it. I get it. I just feel like he's not gonna let them bully him as much as she is going. She's a puppet. She's a puppet.
Donald Trump has already made it clear that he wants them to bully him as much as possible. They literally violated a ceasefire agreement that he set forth with Iran, And he didn't say a peep. Since when did the big bad Mr. Trump that's dominating all of the world leaders, let an ally violate an agreement that we set forth, say nothing, and continue to give them billions of dollars?
I will say that as someone who voted for Trump, that is the big thing that he's fell short on. I would still vote for him over Kamala. I'm sorry. Kamala. Is it Kamala or Kamala? How do you say it? I'm like, for real.
Kamala. Now, if you can't pronounce her name, just call her Harris.
Kamala.
Yeah.
Harris. President Harris. President-elect Harris. Vice President Harris.
Yeah.
Trump, he did fall short on the, I'm pro-Palestine. So that was as someone who votes Republican, it's an issue that I know it's crazy. I'm like a Candace Owens. I swear. I swear. Like, I'm pro-choice, but it definitely should be regulated. We can't be having late-term abortions. Pro-gun.
No one does have late-term abortions, elective abortions. So let me get this straight. So you're telling me that you're pro-Palestine and pro-choice.
But I'm pro-Second Amendment. I'm pro-gun.
Oh, Donald Trump is not pro-Second Amendment. In his first term, he passed the bump stock ban, which SCOTUS ruled is unconstitutional. In his second term,
we don't need bump stocks. I promise we don't need bump stocks.
It's a violation on your Second Amendment. I agree, we don't need them. Now, second point here. Holy shit. So his Justice Department is now pursuing a total gun ban for all transgender individuals, which is a blatant bold-faced violation of the Second Amendment.
I agree. I think it's more of a mental health issue.
Being trans?
Not being trans is a mental health issue.
All right. Congratulations, you're right, because it isn't.
It's not. I feel like there are groups that are trans and they'll acknowledge, I know people, they'll say, I'm a trans woman, but I was a biological man. And I'm like, I love it. I can support it. You're a biological man, but you are a trans woman. You are acknowledging that you will never be a biological woman. I love that.
Wait, okay.
Full support.
Okay.
I
can't have you saying this on TikTok. You are going to get me banned. We cannot talk about trans individuals on TikTok. It's a no-go for their TOS. Here's what I will say. I completely disagree with you. Okay. Right. In fact, I think it's incredibly wrong to posit that what you are positing. Let me see if I can find a way to word this that is TikTok safe and friendly. When a trans woman says that they're a woman, it's because they think, and I think, and we should all think, that gender is a social construct, separate and distinct, and yet only corollary to sex, not identical to sex. All right? And of course, you'd respond to that by saying, no, sex and gender are identical, that's why they're wrong. But this is going to come down to a difference and a disagreement on what the definition of gender is, how we understand it to be, and how it exists inside a society. Right? But a disagreement upon what we understand gender to be shouldn't be a line that we draw to determine if individuals should be able to own guns or not. What? What are you, what? You're literally saying, because some trans individuals uphold a different conception of what gender is and how it exists in America, that therefore they shouldn't be able to own firearms? You're literally saying that we should restrict individuals' ability to protect themselves given that they hold opinions that are different than yours.
I don't think that at all. I think that, being a woman can be being a biological woman can be very hard.
We can't talk about that on TikTok. We cannot have that discussion.
No, I'm just talking about giving like childbirth and things like that. Being that abstract. It's hard. I've been through it. I've had 2 kids. And I would never want anyone to take that away from me. I know people that have transitioned onto a different gender and they can still acknowledge that the hardships of the other gender, every gender has hardships. Being a woman has hardships, being a man has hardships.
Could I just clarify that my original point is that you said that you're pro 2A and that's why you support Trump. Donald Trump has called for a termination of the Second Amendment and is pushed to ban the ownership of guns for trans Americans.
You said yes. He pushed.
So could you agree?
And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. 100%.
Okay, well then this demonstrates that he's not in alignment as it would relate with his thoughts on the Second Amendment.
I don't agree with that 100%, but I do know people that have transitioned that are detransitioning because it was a mental.
Dude, none. What does like any of this have to do with the fact that he wants to infringe upon 2A? It's like whenever I just say the word trans, right? It just like it's this automatic like proxy consumer of all of your brain cells to just all of a sudden like start like unloading the hate. Like, dude, my point is that you said that you're for the Second Amendment. I said that Donald Trump is not. He's called for total and complete gun ownership for like all trans individuals, which is unconstitutional and in contrary to the values that you described when you told us why you support Trump.
You said Trump is trying to ban 2A, but you said only for a specific group of people. That's not across the board. I will acknowledge that trying to target a specific group of people, I understand that. And trying to target a specific group of people is not right. I do not support targeting any specific group of people. When it comes to the Second Amendment, it should be across the board. I do believe that we have a mental health crisis due to our lack of healthcare, our lack of resources here in this country. And that has led to a mental health crisis that when it comes to buying a gun, you can go and buy a gun and be in and out in 10 minutes. And that's not right. I know that because I live in Texas. I can literally go and purchase that in 10 minutes, and that's not right. You're definitely like, there's got to be more that goes into it, but should we just completely take it away from civilians?
So then you agree that like Donald Trump wants to infringe upon 2A, so that's not one of the reasons why you support him. So why do you support him?
I support Trump more so on an economic standpoint. I like that he is telling some, but not all, foreign nations that, hey, like we can't be supporting your war. He told that to the Ukraine. He told that to President Zelensky. He needs to carry that same mentality when it comes to Netanyahu.
So you support him because he defunded Ukraine?
I don't think we should be funding any foreign war.
All right, so you support him because he stopped the funding to Ukraine?
Yes.
Okay. Well, he resumed the funding to Ukraine on July 11th.
I did not know that.
So do you still support him?
I would still vote for him over President-elect Harris. Now, there is one Democrat that is catching my eye here in Texas, because I live here in Texas. I think he's running for representative. His last name is like Tallarico, I think.
Dude, that guy's a bullet. I've seen it.
Do you like him?
I've seen a couple clips. From what I've seen of him, he's sharp as hell.
Okay, I like him. I know he's a little. Okay,
but that's not what we're. I mean, I don't know. I think I've seen like a clip talking to him about, like, I don't know. I saw him talking about something. I was like, damn, he's good. I'm not familiar with all of his views though. But once again, I'm asking you why you support Trump. Can I have a description of why? Personally, I support Trump. I feel like he's been decently transparent with us as Americans. I like his criminal justice reform. He has a huge criminal justice reform that he has done. Are you talking about the First Step Act?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so point number one, the First Step Act was actually proposed to Congress under Obama, but the GOP was unwilling to pass it until they had a Republican in the White House because they wanted to make them look good by passing it. And point number two, he's actually already contradicting the First Step Act. One of the things that the First Step Act did was it took individuals off of death row for distributing DRUGS. And something that he ran on and, honed in on heavily during the first 100 days of his term was, putting people on death row for selling DRUGS. And then also about your comment about him being decently transparent, he told over 30,000 confirmed lies during his first term. And he told
But how many did come out? How many did President-elect Harris tell? Do we know? Do we have that number?
Can you name one lie she's ever told?
I would have to run that through whatever database you ran that through to get that number for Trump.
Right.
I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I mean, isn't that like telling enough? It's like you can't even name a lie that Kamala Harris has told. But if I was to start naming lies that like Trump has told, oh, he said windmills cause cancer. Oh, he said coal is clean. Oh, he said he won the 2020 election. Oh, he said that he was the man of the year in Michigan 23 years ago. Oh, he said he didn't grape E. Jean Carroll. Oh, he said that he didn't commit the 34 felonies. Oh, he said that the jury in the court was rigged against him. Oh, he said that Biden destroyed the economy.
Well, okay,
oh, he said that he was going to usher in no inflation. Like I mean, like he lies like almost every time he opens his mouth.
President-elect Harris also told us that Joe Biden was in perfect health when we were seeing personally his health publicly declining on television. So it's like there's many like politics, like people are gonna lie, and we all it's on both sides. We all know that.
even if we assume that was a lie, like I'll just give it to you because my debate is still clear. Like that doesn't even compare to like one other lie that he's told. Like for instance, denying the outcome of the 2020 election for 6 years and convincing 72% of Republicans to have virtues of distrust in our civil electoral processes. Not to mention the other 30,000, right? Because like obviously there's going to be a difference here. This is like comparing somebody that like I don't know stole a candy bar from a grocery store and somebody that like would like steal the Mona Lisa from the Louvre.
Like I said, I would still vote for him over President-elect Harris. I as a Republican, my views are starting to shift, and I will say that the Israel and Palestine situation is causing my views to shift, like most Republicans currently right now. It's kind of having us lean a little more left.
Can I be honest?
Right? Yes, of course.
I think that you have the heart of a leftist, but the social conditioning of a far-right Republican. And I'm going to be honest. That's where I think that you stand. I think that you have the heart of a leftist and the social conditioning of a far-right Republican. And the reason that I say that is because you told us that you're pro-Palestinian and pro-choice, but you live in Texas, right?
I'm pro-choice to an extent. I don't think that I think the abortion pill should be accessible here in Texas because right now you can't have any type of abortion here in Texas, which I disagree with. I think the abortion pill should be readily available. It still is, but not legally. But I do believe, like, I have seen videos where people will call a clinic and ask, hey, I'm very far along. Can I have this procedure done? They're like, yeah, sure. I don't agree with that. I feel like you should, unless there's health conditions that are causing that. But I feel like you should know pretty soon on, because you can take the pill.
What's your line? What's your line here?
So the pill, you can take the pill up until like, I want to say 11 weeks. I feel like that's a lot of time to figure out what you're going to do.
So you think that we should draw the line at 11 weeks?
I don't necessarily think the line should be completely drawn black and white at 11 weeks, but
when do you think
as far as
should be
elective,
for elective abortions?
Okay. So there's different types. There's the pill, which you can have, I want to say 11 to 12 weeks. And then after that, it's a DNC. You go under anesthesia. It's a whole procedure. They're going inside of you. Yeah.
Also, by the way, the pill can typically work up until 15 weeks, but.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. So I think the pill should be legal. And as long as it works, then I think it should, that should be the line. When it comes to a DNC, I think those should be reserved for the most like health reasons, specific, like, heinous crime reasons that we don't know about. That should be reserved for that. I don't think that it should be completely open gate across the field, but it shouldn't be a completely closed gate. Sure.
Would you say that's because like the action of like slicing up the fetus and taking it out of the body just like grosses you out more than the pill? It's like I just can't really like understand like the moral relevancy of like the distinguishment between getting an abortion with the use of a pill and getting an abortion with the use of like an abortion procedure.
So most women that I know that have taken the pill, you'll miss your cycle, and at that point you'll be about 4 weeks, and for about 4 weeks pregnant. And that's pretty early on. If you look at what a pregnancy looks like.
Can we just clear this up? I want to clear this up. I don't think I've ever heard about anybody getting an abortion through the pill at 4 weeks. A lot of people don't even know that they're pregnant at 4 weeks. In fact,
I'm saying if you track your cycle and you have your first missed period and you happen to notice it, if you calculate the days, it'll pinpoint you about 4 weeks at that point.
Okay,
is what I'm saying.
I just want.
Not saying that every woman catches it at that point.
At what point should women no longer be able to access elective abortions? At what point?
Like we discussed, I think the abortion pill should be readily available.
I'm looking for a weak point.
I would have to, like I said, I thought the abortion pill was 11 to 12 weeks. You said maybe 15. I know at 15 weeks is when they can see what sex. They can see that on ultrasound. I would say about then is the agreed point.
And why?
And that's a good amount of time. How many weeks are in a month? That's a good amount of time.
What makes abortion immoral at 15 weeks?
I think that when you creep towards, there have been cases where people have given birth very, early on because of medical reasons, and their fetuses have been viable at very 20, as early as that I know of 20 weeks. I know probably even earlier than that.
The earliest born viable fetus ever was at 21 weeks.
Okay, so I was around that. So I said 20, so 21. Like I said, I don't, and I will bring religion into this a little bit. Mary was asked for her consent to carry Jesus, so that's why I am, as a Christian and as a Republican, that's why I am pro-abortion. I'm a pro-abortion, but like I said, at some point, have you seen when you're having a DNC and you're ripping apart a fetus and you're having recognizable hands and feet and limbs, that's when it becomes an issue for me. Like I said, at the abortion pill, you're a clump of cells, you take a pill, you have a natural miscarriage, it feels like a heavy period, it's no recognizable.
Can I be honest with you?
What?
And I truly mean to say this with a kindness in my heart. I don't hate you. Like I said, I just think that you're very confused on these things because of social conditioning. What I think would be beneficial to you is truly doing more research, investing your time and your mental attention into doing your research on arguments for and against abortion. I just know you'll come out pro-choice. Doing your research into economics and what the left thinks maybe about making life easier for the average American and low-income Americans and making the rich pay their fair share, etc. Doing your research into these things. And I truly believe at the end of the day, once you fight through all of the mental confusion and confliction of thought onset by ignorance on these subjects to a certain extent, that you will be one of us. But
I don't feel like I have ignorance. When it comes to abortion,
ignorance isn't a bad word. Ignorance is not a bad word.
Ignorance means the lack of knowing. So I understand that ignorance is not a bad word. When it comes to abortion, I will be very honest. Before it was completely taken away here in Texas, I have taken abortion pills, and that's why I can speak from this experience. It's you find out pretty early on. You get the pills, you take them, and like I said, it literally just starts kind of like a heavy menstrual cycle. You pass nothing's recognizable, right? Nothing. And then on the flip side, I have my best friend. She has had a DNC, and it was emotionally distraught. It affected her so hard mentally. Versus my experience, I wasn't really affected mentally. It just was kind of like, oh, I took these pills and I started my period. Okay, cool. She had to go to a whole clinic, a doctor, go under anesthesia, have a whole procedure. It's a lot more of an invasive experience, and that's why I am a little bit more against it, because I feel like I watched her go through it, and it seemed like just such a invasive and kind of vulnerable experience. And I wish that women had more access to healthcare so we could find out
Can I ask
about.
a question?
Yes.
So if you're just simply saying that it should be banned because you think it's invasive and it should be banned because you think it could onset trauma. So according to a study done in 2023, you could find this on the National Library of Medicine under new onset postoperative depression after major surgery and analysis from National Claims Database. You will see that the highest incidence of onset postoperative depression is from hip fracture surgery. So hip fracture surgery makes people take away a lot of depression. It can be incredibly traumatic for a lot of people, and it's incredibly invasive. Should we ban hip fracture surgery?
I don't even know what hip fracture surgery is, so
It's
probably
getting
not.
surgery
I
after
don't
you
wanna
fracture
speak on
your
something
hip.
I don't know. I don't want to speak on something I don't know.
But it's pretty simple. It's just getting surgery after you fracture your hip.
I think no. If a doctor is recommending that someone needs that hip surgery, I think but are doctors recommending? I don't know. I've never been put in the situation where a doctor has been like, yes, you need to abort your child.
Well, no,
like,
the doctor's not telling you that you need to abort your child. The doctor's just simply saying, if you want to abort a child, here's a recommended procedure to do it.
Okay, and I get that, but the pill. I mean, like I said, that's a long time. Like that's how many weeks? How many weeks are in a month? How many weeks are in a month? That's X amount of months for you to make up your decision and take a little pill. Literally, that's like me telling you as a man, look at it like the outside looking in. You have the choice to take a pill, or you have the choice to go under anesthesia and have a whole procedure.
Listen,
which one?
I don't think that anybody is going to disagree that the pill is preferable to the procedure.
Preferable.
I don't think that this means we should ban the procedure. Like, for instance,
I don't think we should ban it totality.
Just listen to what I have to say here. I bet everybody can agree that chocolate ice cream is better than vanilla ice cream because vanilla ice cream sucks. And if you disagree, unfollow me. But this doesn't mean we should ban vanilla ice cream, you know?
We can't compare ice cream to the birth of children. It's a little bit more complicated than that.
Well, is it your argument just completely rooted in the fact that you think that the pill is better than the procedure? More preferable?
My argument is that here in Texas it's completely illegal, and I think that's wrong. I think that Ted Cruz is a fucking idiot. I think that Abbott is a fucking idiot. I hate that is what my party has come to in the state that I live in. But I don't think that, and also more context, I work in a nightlife type industry where I work around a lot of women. And so I know a lot of women that have gotten these procedures because they have just been like, do I want to have this baby? Do I not? Do I want to? Do I not? And they prolong and prolong and prolong. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to fly to Vegas or wherever and I'm going to have a DNC. And it's like, babe, you knew this a few weeks ago. Like you could have took better action. And that's where I have kind of a riff. Like, yes, if you don't want to have a child, you should not be forced to have a child. But we got to be a little bit more responsible as women with our bodies and we
shouldn't legally subjugate individuals to legal barriers to force what you think is responsibility. We shouldn't just listen to what I have to say here. We shouldn't legally subjugate individuals to your perceptions of responsibility. Think about this. Can we agree that it is irresponsible to eat a whole chocolate cake from Walmart in one sitting? Yeah.
So you don't think?
Just listen to what I have to say. Just listen.
You can't complain. We can't compare cake to babies.
But the whole time you haven't been talking about the baby. You've only been talking about the woman being reckless, the woman being irresponsible, the woman waiting too long, the woman having an easier procedure earlier through the pill. You have not once mentioned anything to do with the fetus at any point through your actual argument. But then as soon as I get done responding to your actual argument, it somehow gets wrapped back around to the baby.
I can if you want me to. As someone who has had,
I'm going to give you one last shot.
As someone who has had 2 children, I've had ultrasounds. I've seen what the whole process looks like from start to finish. With my son's 17-week ultrasound, I can look at that ultrasound and make out his facial structure to this day.
Yeah, but guess what? Our facial structures don't make us morally valuable.
I mean, at that same gestational age, I see him moving around, sucking his finger. They feel pain. Do they not?
False, actually. According to neurodoctrine studies, it is the case that we now believe that fetal pain can be onset as a perception experienced by the fetus at around 27 weeks.
So you don't think that someone who is using substances you don't think that their fetus will feel those effects of those substances like at their 20-week gestational, 15-week gestational at all?
Yeah, I know that a fetus will not feel the impact of substances at 15 weeks. Yeah, I know that.
For sure.
Yeah, because they don't have feelings at all.
So
So
babies that are born early, preterm, at 21, 22, 23, 24 weeks that are born addicted to substances, how can they feel the effects of those substances if it's not a thing according to you?
I'm still addicted to nicotine when I'm asleep. Like
How?
this doesn't like it. Well, it's observed as I don't know how to explain this because I'm not a medical health professional. But like addictions can be like material, and like the way that we would conclude that there can be some type of dependency of substances on like newborns or preemies isn't by like asking the fetus if they're addicted to the substances, but is rather by like drawing their blood and looking at like the different levels of certain things, or looking at genetic predispositions, or like the body literally being dependent on it in order to live, etc., and so on and so forth. You don't have a podcast bro going up to the preemie being like, yo dude, you addicted to that shit? And they're like, yeah. No, like that's not how it happens. It's like more scientific than that, and it's an observation of physical states compared to mental ones.
Can I point out like one kind of semi off topic thing?
No, I think I'm going to end our conversation here, but
wait. For real. As someone who came here with an open mind, like genuinely came in here with an open mind, like as I'm reading the comments, it doesn't seem like your supporters are as accepting of people like me who are Republican, but kind of question.
I'm actually not going to lie. Like I'm still holding to my perception here that if you go out and you like do more research, like I actually do think that you'll be on the left. Like I actually do. I just genuinely believe that I genuinely believe that like you're just kind of confused on these subjects.
And I might be, and I'm not saying that I'll never vote Democrat. But like I'm seeing these comments of people who I'm assuming your supporters are Democrats, and they're being a little harsh. And I'm like, wow, like I thought this was supposed to be like accepting
the
kind of love, like love. You know, I haven't came on here and bashed anyone.
Listen.
I'm coming in here genuine with my thoughts, and everyone in here is like, oh, her poor kids and CPS and this and that. I'm like, wow, I'm literally coming in here trying to like
the comment section on this live is very harsh. But this isn't.
The comment section is not like the Democratic Party. Like we're not going to affiliate your comment section.
Listen, that's just kind of the nature of social media. If that makes any sense. Like I just don't know what to tell you. That's just the nature of social media.
I mean, my feelings aren't hurt. I'm just saying as a Republican, like I said, who is a registered Republican, who leaning
something else here.
Leaning more moderate. It's like, you look for the other side to, hey, like, what are you guys' beliefs? Because I'm a little bit confused, and then everyone over here just being so harsh and so like kind of a little vile. It's like, okay, maybe I'll just stay over to the right. Like, geez.
You just got done describing how where you live, all abortions are banned, yet you also described how you also have had to need to get, how you have needed to get abortions at certain points. So in virtue of that, you described that the state you live in has actively infringed on your access to healthcare. In fact, specifically healthcare that you have needed before. So what is more harsh? Listen to what stop interrupting me. You interrupt me every single time I open my mouth. What is more harsh? Some random anonymous commenter dropping a baby bottle in the TikTok live chat, or your state literally infringing and impeding? Incredibly useful. As well as Kins, thank you for the $20 over on YouTube. I appreciate you and your message. Thank you so much, Kins. As well as Mila, thank you so much for the $5 on Venmo. And Roberto, thank you for the $25 on Venmo. Thank you so much. Saying, I'm restoring an old 1968 Shelby. XP500 in my garage, sorry, for my dad's birthday in January, and I've gotten your live stream on the speakers, Roberto. That's the coolest birthday gift I've ever heard about ever. You are a great son. As well as Reb, thank you for the $20 over on Venmo. Show some love to Reb, as well as Azulia. Thank you for the 10, saying thank you for educating people and standing up for people. Thank you so much, Azulia. You were awesome. You were very, very awesome. As well as M. Thank you once again for the $15 over on Venmo. And then let's see here. Alex with a $1 on PayPal saying, hey, Dean, I also grew up in Grand Junction, Colorado, and I want to say thank you for changing my perspective on political views. Fuck yeah, Alex. Yeah, bro. It is so conservative over here. Hey, for everybody watching, the time of day has come. I do have to end for everyone spamming one more. I've gone 47 minutes over my expected time to do one more. So unfortunately, I am going to go ahead and hop off at this point. Gailey, I appreciate you for that galaxy. I love you guys to bits and pieces. And I'm just so happy to be back into the streams. And I appreciate everyone for being here. You guys are all based as fuck. I appreciate you for showing up. Bethany, thank you for the shining air balloon. And I hoped that you learned something new today. Or just found something that you're now inspired to turn around and go research. So, hell yeah. Call of action of the day. I'm going to start doing calls of action every single day. I've been having and putting more thought into what my goals are as a creator as of recently. And one conclusion that I formed with more thought in the last handful of days is that I need to develop my worldview and my goals more. I think that the debates are a great start because they can change minds, but I need better developed goals that I want to be true of the world around me. And here's one of those goals. Okay? More material change and intellectualism as being predominant and popular of Americans. Your call of action, if you want to engage in it, if you have any friends or family that's on the right and you feel like you could have a safe space entertaining a conversation with them, many of us don't have that availability, myself included in many circumstances. Try to bring up one point that you heard today in the live to them and try to change their mind. I'm going to go to an end for the day, though. I hope that you guys all have a beautiful rest of your evening. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace and love, everybody. Bye-bye.